Rob.
Hello.
We've got microphones.
We have.
And a mixing desk.
Yeah.
And I want to sing an entire episode.
I don't.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to We're the Holocaust, back in the game. Episode, what, Rob?
33 are we up to now?
Oh, I thought we were about 35.
I can't remember.
30. Well, we'll say 33 for now.
Yeah.
If we're wrong, shoot us.
Well,
Not
no,
literally. No. But yeah.
Last time we told somebody to shoot anything, it was that goose, and then somebody shot a goose with a crossbow.
Yeah, it's true. That is
Maybe
true.
we shouldn't say these things anymore.
Yes, let's be responsible. Now we've got professional equipment, maybe we should be more professional.
And get a longbow.
Get a longbow.
Yeah.
Or just make sure the job's done properly in the first place and not leave an injured goose. But yeah, we're using our new equipment that was bought using your generous donations. Not
Yes.
you, Rob.
No,
People
not
at
me.
home, Rob.
No.
So if you did buy anything through our Amazon link, give yourself a pound on the back.
Yeah.
Because you are responsible for the fact that we no longer sound like we're recording in a kitchen while we're recording
In the kitchen.
But that's good, because if we don't sound like we're recording in a kitchen while we're in a kitchen, that's an
Yeah.
improvement.
You've given the game away now by telling them, though.
We spent a good, I'd say almost an hour trying to get this set up.
Give or take, yep.
It turned out we just hadn't turned the microphones on.
That was part of it. There's a little bit more to it than that.
But that was the main issue.
That was the main
we turned
gist of
them
it.
on themselves, but we hadn't actually provided power to them.
Yeah, it's all a bit weird. It's new to us.
It's because it's professional kit.
It is.
Professional kit. We even got fancy microphone stands that we can adjust how we've got them. I'm going to put some photos on Twitter. I've taken some.
Yes.
And we'll put those out. So yeah, if you have donated through the affiliate link, or if you've given us a PayPal donation, then thank you very much. We are back in the game professionally now.
Yeah.
And so yeah, let's crack on, Rob.
It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, we must have played some games.
Yeah, a couple of games.
I played the new Tapped Out update,
Yes, so have I.
and I really like it.
I really like it, apart from the bit where it makes the whole game run like a limp horse through a muddy field.
But it does have dubious sexual content now.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. They did that last time, though. We talked about it before we started with Mr. Burns and the Masquerade Ball.
Naked characters with Sims-esque blurring on them. And my favourite is Carl, because the blurring goes brown. All the rest are yellow, and it just for him is like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised it didn't extend out further as well.
Oh.
What with those rumours you hear about black people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's...
Oh, God.
Oh, don't start. I had a customer ring me up this week, and
Right.
we were talking about... we'd had a film cancelled because the print didn't arrive. So I had to ring round everyone. And one lady, I know her quite well, she's lovely. I explained that instead of the film we were going to be showing, which was Love and Mercy, the Brian Wilson story, we were showing instead Get On Up, the James Brown story. And she said she wouldn't come and see it because she doesn't like James Brown.
Right.
And as far as she's concerned, his violence towards women is not something she really wants to be seeing on a screen.
Fair enough.
And she went, actually, all brown people. Chris Brown, James Brown.
The only two examples she could think of.
Well, that was the two she gave. And I said, when you say brown people, do you mean people with a surname Brown or just the fact that they're both black? And she went, oh, God, no, I didn't mean that. I was like, wow, it's a good job it's just between you and I. And she went, I'm in
Not
the
anymore.
car park outside Little. I went, oh, all right. And she went, yeah, I'm hungry, so I bought myself a bag of Flaming Hot Monster Munch.
Oh,
And so we had a discussion about how the world is a better place for having Monster Munch.
it is. It really, really is.
So racism and Monster Munch.
Definitely.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What the world of rights. But yeah, the Simpsons update, we've got a bit of kind of a Cthulhu theme, or a bit Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
They pulled in a crafting option to get the final alien, Kodos.
Yep.
And some new probing technology. It's good. I'm
Yeah, it's
enjoying
okay.
it.
It's good.
It's the best Halloween update I can remember in terms of content.
Yeah.
I haven't had to go to loads of towns and trick or treat all the towns.
No, and that's good because there aren't that many people playing it on my friends list. There's you, Steve from Mature Gamer, and a couple of others that I know, but it's a pretty limited crop now. A lot of people have moved away from Tapped Out, which is a shame because it's the last couple of storylines are pretty decent. The monorail one's still ongoing. You can still craft stuff for that, which I like.
Yeah.
I would have just spent all my in-game money and built it, but I kind of like the idea that I have to work for it a bit now.
Yeah.
I've resolved my conscience and soul with that. But.
Well, this is it. And for me, I'm just really liking the crafting element, having missions because it's almost taken like we had with the Springfield Heights businesses where you could send people and then get rewards. Those rewards seem to equate to what you would have got from Neighbours previously. Now you're just getting some crafting materials. You go to a friend's town, drop that in, you get crafting materials. If they drop in yours, you get crafting materials. But the actual currency of the event, you only get in your town.
Yeah.
Which is great because it means that in theory everything should be possible without a friends list of 100 active players, which in the past has been the case, and like you say, it's now a limited crowd. So, yeah, I really like it.
I just don't have enough time to play to do it regularly because obviously you've got like 4-hour circles of the storytelling with the kids at the campfire, so I don't get to log in enough to take advantage of that properly. No. So I've kind of got a stack of quests now where I need. This is the problem we've talked about before. You need certain characters a lot. So I think Bart has got 2 or 3 quests, and it's kind of like how I need to juggle it and time it. Go well. I'll be asleep during this 6-hour quest, so I'll do that overnight. Yeah, but then I don't have the time to log in the morning before work, so I get about 6:30. I have to leave at 7.
One because they're doing the weekly donut challenge as well. Where you can get 20 donuts. Yeah, I finally got enough to buy Jimbo Jones, and I wanted him because when they added Ruth in, there was a mission for him. Yeah. So I was like, oh, brilliant. That would be great. And there was also a mission just for him generally anyway. But then that requires Lisa to finish it. And that's a 24-hour mission for that.
And that interrupts.
And I'm thinking, I'll wait. But it still sits there. And I keep thinking, I wish I hadn't bought that character now. But if they keep doing that for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I might be able to get another character, which is quite cool. Yeah. And I like the fact they've put some decent premium items in as well. But they're also giving you the currency to buy it rather than...
It's the same with the ongoing monorail stuff. If you get enough bits crafted, you get 5 donuts and 5 extra track pieces. I've not reached that point yet because, again...
So this with the rail yard? See, I never got the rail yard, so I can't... mine has stopped at that level.
I got the rail... I was damn determined to get that because I thought that would be the bit... Kind of like the old Squidpot. Yeah. Where you just spent 15,000 and it would give you a new piece. I was hoping it would be that. I'll just have to wait 24 hours at a time and spend money to get it. But you actually have to keep making the materials to generate more pieces, which is okay. I'm fine with that. But again, you have to log in enough to keep people making stuff regularly to get enough within a week to get the donuts as well. And that's quite difficult if you don't have the time to keep jumping in and out. But
I've set alarms to wake myself up in the middle of the night just so I can do the 4-hour story missions, get more characters. I'm just trying to upgrade the campfire as quickly as possible. Yeah. Because that gives you a 5% increase in the amount in the town.
Organised, I could probably do it in the mornings. I'll probably get up 10 minutes earlier. Yeah. That's 10 minutes less sleep when I'm on the early shift, which, no, it's not going to happen.
But then that's ridiculous when you sit there and go, I'm going to set my clock so I can
10 minutes early go tap out.
But that is the pervasive nature of those kind of apps. So.
But the other thing is, I've kind of managed to break the cycle now because normally if I go in and go, that building's ready, so I'll have to do everything that's ready. Yeah. Whereas before we started, I managed to do the campfire. So when I go home, hopefully I can get it in again before bed. But it's the willpower to ignore other things just so I can get the important time stuff.
Partners and children and work.
Work mainly.
So what else have you been playing?
Elder Scrolls Online.
All right.
Played a reasonable amount of that. I've teamed up with the Flares again. I used to play Destiny with a lot, as regular listeners will know. They've both moved to Xbox One as well now. So they've really hammered through Elder Scrolls. I've sort of deviated to other things. Yeah. And I'm enjoying it. It hasn't quite got its hooks into me in the same way that Skyrim did. Right. Because it's absolutely huge, massive. There's tons of stuff I haven't unlocked yet on the map. But it's not quite as... I guess because of the nature of the game, and it's more of an MMO, and obviously Skyrim's just... It's a set map. So everything is there. There's no unlocking as such. It's just, this is it. And so there was a lot more. It seemed like every building you could go in and there was things to steal and this to do. Every time you walk past a bush, you could harvest the berries or the flowers. Whereas in Elder Scrolls Online, it's obviously very specific. Yeah. These flowers you can, but those ones are just for the visuals. And some of the places look a little bit too samey. So you've kind of lost, say, between like Falkreath and Dragon's Reach were aesthetically quite different. You know, they were similar in a way because obviously within a certain game, but so it's almost... I liked what one of the reviews of Elder Scrolls, they say you sort of skim through it. And it's a fun ride, but it's not quite as in-depth. But I guess that's the nature of Elder Scrolls. And one thing which is difficult is the immersion because you've got all these other people running around. So there's obviously a narrative going, oh, you're the first person to enter this tomb for 1,000 years, apart from that guy over there and that bloke jumping up and down on top of a barrel. Yeah. So you lose your immersion sometimes.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes it helps because there's 2 or 3 of you teaming up on a boss, which makes it so much easier, and you're like, great, I've ploughed through that.
See,
other times.
This is... for that same reason of it being weird having people in there, I do find that when Xur is in an area in Destiny, that really helps because you can pretty much go into an area and just watch where everybody runs to. And if you follow them, usually you'll find Xur.
But with that's the social area with Destiny. If you go into a mission, even though you have the shared spaces, once you enter that mission zone, everybody else is phased out. It's just you and your fire.
What I'm saying is, if there was an area where you know there's something to find, theoretically, you could witness another player. Yeah. Go give you a hint, almost. So you could kind of like think, oh, I'll follow them. But then it could be like when you're at an airport and you're following the person that you think knows where they're going.
And they're going to Bahrain and you're going to Brussels.
Yeah, and then you all sit there and go, and everybody just starts following everybody. Or when you get on a train and you all hope you're on the right train, but nobody really knows.
Everybody's too British to ask.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's kind of what I always see MMOs as.
Yeah. The other thing I'm struggling with is that certain bits only unlock at certain points. Right. And that's starting to frustrate me a bit. So the ability to quick change between 2 weapon sets. Right. So maybe a sword and shield and a bow. Synaptic Flare's unlocked that because he's at a sufficient level. I'm not. So I've basically got to have my weapons ready before I enter a fight. So I either need to go, right, shield and sword or bow, and then hope I don't have to change on the fly because they will keep hitting me while I change.
So your character is unable of picking the bow off of its shoulder at the moment?
No, I can use a bow.
Right.
If I want to change to shield and sword, for example.
Right.
Start menu, character, main hand.
That seems mental.
Yeah, so either I'm missing something. I don't think I am from talking to Synaptic Flare. Either I have to do it that way or stick with one setup or choose, right, I'm going into, there's 4 or 5 of them. Maybe I should have sword and shield and try and block a bit more and so forth. That frustrated me. Yeah. I've had some frustrations with trying to use health potions and things on the fly in the middle of fights. My health's getting low, trying to do it quick. Not the easiest I've found compared to Skyrim where... Again, maybe this is kind of cheating it a little bit because obviously if you hit start, it would pause what was going on.
Yeah.
You take your health potion, unpause and carry on.
But surely you could have just mapped that to a button.
Do you know what? I swear I've done that 2 or 3 times. And when I log back in, that mapping's gone.
Yeah.
But I don't realise that until it's too late when I'm in a fight and I'm pushing buttons and nothing happens. It's like...
So if you're on a PC, that'd be a lot easier, I guess.
I don't want to play on a PC.
No, I know.
But yeah, you have like H for health and you go, bah, and then yay.
Whereas on a controller, I suppose it's
so
limited aren't you?
It's just little frustrations like that which break the immersion, they break the enjoyment as well. So I'm going to stick with it and persevere because I want to see other bits unlock, kind of like Destiny did, where it finds its feet the higher you go, and you unlock the good stuff, the actual genuinely good stuff in the game. And I've seen a few people say that you need to persevere through a good chunk of hours to really get the best out of Elder Scrolls Online. So I'm dipping in and out still.
That's quite reasonable. Quite reasonable. I've been playing a game that Welshbeck recommended to us called Hex FRVR.
Mm-hmm.
It's an app.
I saw his tweet.
You can access it actually on a browser as well. It's I don't know if it's a Flash game, but it's some sort of online game. I'm now showing you it.
Yep,
that's it.
It looks like Blockbusters.
It is basically like Blockbusters in the sense that it's soon going to be redundant.
There's a Blockbusters meets Tetris.
So basically, you fill in the hexagon in the big screen, and when you create a line in any direction, they disappear off the screen. It's a natty little game. I find myself playing it a lot when I'm a bit stressed out because it's nice and calm. If you do a few in a row, it says things like,
well done,
beautiful, wonderful. And one of them was after I cleared 3, I went, you're getting better. I thought, I did 4 earlier. Getting worse.
In-game pump up, shall we call it, pumping your tyres, will ever be NBA Jam on the Mega Drive when one character scores like 3 baskets in a row and you went, oh boy, he's on fire. Never forget that. Loved that as a kid.
I would love if this app, they managed to persuade Matt Berry to do the voices for it. And it was just go, yes, I can see you're very good at this.
Father!
Yeah, it would be amazing. So that's the only criticism of it.
It hasn't got Matt Berry's voice.
But yeah, as a game with a high score run, very, very good. The only downside I can see to it is there are very limited menu options in the sense of what you've kind of got, really. You can turn it on, turn it off. You can log into other things, which might give me more options, but I don't want to give it my Facebook access.
Is it effectively just a high score game?
Yeah.
Potentially against friends if you use the Facebook login.
Or if you've got friends.
But,
I mean, for mine, the only thing I would have liked is if I get a high score, to automatically give me the option to share that to a social media.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that, which does surprise me. But then at the same time, it's not forcing me to go, okay, there's my giant digital penis. It's got ads in there to give it financial support because it's a free app, but there are one every 15 games, I think I saw. So, I mean, again, nothing major, but it's just very calming and very relaxing. So if you're listening and you want to get on, I think we'll set this as this week's high score challenge. It's Hex FRVR, and you can find it on a number of devices and platforms. Anything else you've been playing, Rob?
Tomb Raider Definitive. That was a game with gold just before I got my Xbox One. Yeah. So I've been basically replaying that because I played it on 360. Valiant Hearts, which I know you played previously. Again, a game with gold. I very much
liked it.
I'm enjoying it. I think you talked about it more at the time. That interactive story thing I quite like.
Yeah,
I like that. It's relaxing in a sense because you really is one you can sit back on the sofa, read the stuff.
Yeah,
you're not pressured to blast through things.
No.
And there's some games can be first-person shooters, and even Elder Scrolls can be a bit frantic at times. So there's a little bit more relaxed pace, which is nice for sort of playing through more subtly, shall we say. NHL 16 as well. I picked up.
All right, yeah.
Because I didn't pick up last year's. I purposely left it because 15 was the first leap to the next gen of consoles for the series. So the 360 version was basically 14 with updated rosters.
Okay. So pretty much what they've done with FIFA on older consoles.
Yeah, pretty much. And I didn't feel it was worth 50 quid just for the updated rosters at that time. Obviously, I made a conscious decision I would buy.
So you're on
16.
Xbox One for this NHL game? And how are you finding that as a jump from
very good.
one gen to the next?
It's really good.
Because obviously you're the most informed person here on whether hockey is realistic or not.
I'm really enjoying it. They've done their usual updates to include some of the younger players because obviously they have player naming rights issues with some of them pre-season. So Jack Eichel at Buffalo, because he played college hockey, he didn't already fall under their rights bracket, so I had to wait for that. And but that's all there now. So
does that get updated periodically?
Yeah, they update it throughout the season because there's trades and things like that. So
can you throw your gloves off and have a fight?
Yeah, fighting's in there.
So
I think the NHL, I'm sure, resisted that for a while, but I don't know if EA just kept chipping away, or it's kind of like you can't really resist us doing it when it's on the TV every night. Well, not every night, but a lot of highlights packages and things. So. That's in there. They've got Be a Pro mode again, pretty similar to FIFA, which plays well. I think some of it is repairing relationships with gamers from last year.
Yeah.
Because 15 being the first one to the Xbox One, a lot of features were taken out of the Xbox One version. And although it looked great, people were like, I want to do this. Where's this? I want to do that. I really enjoyed that on the old one. And so that's coming back in. They've got the Ultimate Team again, similar to FIFA again. Be a general manager. That's your hockey version of Be a Manager. So all the traditional features are back. It looks great, plays well. I'm really enjoying it. They've added in some good features with mainly I suppose regards to people who aren't as familiar with the series. So it'll give you sort of help indicators of where to pass, where your shot is aiming, things like that, which I think are nice touches. It's just these little touches, and obviously pulling in those popular features again has repaired a lot of damage, and even down to very simple things like the in-arena effects. So in Columbus, they actually have a replica cannon. In real life, and when Columbus score, the cannon goes off. So that's in the game.
Right.
The New York Islanders, their fans adopted the Daniel Bryan yes 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 chant from WWE. So they adopted that last year. That's in there. So when the Islanders score, you've got the yes 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 chant. And it's little things like that. You've got the mascots.
Yep.
It's kind of kitschy because it's just a pre-programmed set of movements that the mascots follow, but it's a nice touch.
Yeah.
It's the mascot dancing at the glass.
Adding that bit more
realism,
yeah.
So, and playoff beards as well. They've added that in at last. 2K, when they still did an NHL series, they had that years ago.
Yeah.
2K games were shit, but they had these decent little touches, like you could drive the Zamboni between the period breaks.
That the thing that fixed the ice.
That's it, and cleans the ice. And it had playoff beards.
Zamboni. Why is it called a Zamboni? Is that the guy who invented it?
Don't know.
Because that's a weird name for an
It
ice
is. I
machine.
genuinely don't know. Actually, I've never looked it up.
I'm going to look it up now while you cough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh dear. So now we get microphones, then you give them better quality coughing.
Yeah. Well,
That's cool. I'm looking up Zamboni now just because I'm fascinated by the idea of that being called that because it makes no sense.
Yeah, I've genuinely
Really?
never looked it up. I never even thought to. It's one of those things you
You
accept.
just accept,
That's the Zamboni.
Like, oh, that thing over there is called a plunge plop or whatever. A Zamboni machine or an i3 surfacer. It was created by the Frank J. Zamboni Company.
There we go. So what's his name?
Creator in 1949 in the city of Paramount. So it's like Hoover.
Yeah.
In that it's not, unless it might not be a Zamboni, unless it's actually a Zamboni.
There is a difference. There's the one at Peterborough is an Olympia because when it empties the ice it's slushed up, it empties it
into the slush
frontwards
puppy
rather
machine.
than sidewards. Yeah, it's in the slush puppy. People's teeth and blood and all. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely a step forward, and I love the series anyway. So,
And people listening have learnt about Zamboni.
they have.
So there we go. Congratulations. We've
Yeah.
all learned something today. I've been playing... what have I been playing? I can't remember. Oh, yes, I can remember. Sorry, I do apologise. I really should have written it down. We have these exhaustive notes for things.
For this week's episode.
I've had a play with the Steam controller.
Oh, yeah.
And not a very long one,
Okay.
but a friend of mine got one, and he got the Steam Link as well, so he can kind of hook it up to his TV and things. The Steam controller, it's really weird. You know, like... Oh, I'm trying to think. Like, you remember when you first played an N64 controller?
Yep.
And you put it in your hand, and you were like, oh, what is this?
Which way around do I do it?
That's what I had with the Steam controller. Because although it was obvious which way to hold it, the control pad things are basically touch pads off a laptop.
Yeah.
And that I found very weird, because there was nothing for me to put my
Physically,
thumb tips into. And it works really well. I mean, I played a couple of... I don't know what the games were he put me on, whether they were just tech demos or whether he just chucked me into something. But he was like, I'll just have a go with this. So I had to play around with it. Feels like a controller. Plays like a controller. But I miss having the resistance of a stick.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's because it has to sit somewhere between keyboard and mouse. So it has to almost have that finesse of control.
Yeah.
And I get how that would work well for a PC gamer. But as me being a regular console gamer, it just felt very alien. But not in a negative, like, criticism way. Just it is an evolution of control pads.
I hope so, because on my Xbox One I have to literally smash the A button as hard as I can with my thumb to make it react. It's a pain in the ass.
It's probably broken.
Maybe. No, this is the thing. Now I've kind of... We didn't really talk about this when I first got Xbox One.
Well, we were going
now
to...
Now I've actually settled into playing
you were
stuff.
very angry about the Xbox One.
I
when you
was.
first
My
got it.
initial experience was terrible.
You wished you'd got a PS4 at first.
At one point, I just wish I'd made the clean break, because at least then I wouldn't have gone from something I'd become so familiar with and I knew worked, despite having to change the 360 twice because of the red ring of death.
Yeah.
It was all hunky-dory and working for several years. And then I went to the Xbox One, and it was just so fucking frustrating.
Yeah. But once you get used to its frustrations, they become the norm.
Yeah, they do, and I have adapted, but that's what... If I'm thinking about that's partly what pisses me off. Why do I have to adapt?
Imagine
it's
it
2015. We've had all this Back to the Future day, and what do they say about the future? Games have got bigger, but have also gone backwards in certain areas.
But this is the thing, like, what are your options? If you want to play that game, you play it on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, or the PC. Which of those do you not have to install for half an hour?
PC?
No, you still have to install it.
Oh, of course you do.
Everything you have to install.
No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking
absolutely
downloading rather than installing.
Realistically, you still have... It's always been the norm for games of that size, because PC's always been a massive leap ahead. So it was always a point where consoles are going to have to become more like PCs, and that's where we are. But it is frustrating when you go from the Mega Drive days of plug a game in and the game works, and the only frustration you'll ever get is you might have to blow on it.
I think part of the problem I've had is... first day I got it was the day Death of Gentleman was on at the Lux.
Yeah.
So I picked it up on the way home, took it home. So I went to the Lux, watched the cricket documentary, went home. I plugged it all in, downloaded a couple of apps, a Blu-ray plug-in, NHL, it was quite late, so I was like, right, I've got it set up, plugged in. We'll actually do it properly tomorrow. I think I set some of the games with gold, like a Black Flag
Yeah.
and things as well. Put Metal Gear Solid in. Unbeknownst to me, this is where it was a sticking point. Put Metal Gear Solid 5 in. Install now. Yeah, fine. You'd pre-warn me. You have to install. Fine. Install. Yep. Also pops up update. Yeah. Fine. Do it. Get it all done. I'll play Black Flag, whatever, for a bit. Problem is, doing the install and saying yes to update at the same time, it gets 99%. That's it. Doesn't get any further. Right. So you have to can everything off, hit install again, wait for it to install. Pops up, ready to play now. Okay. Update. Well, I know this breaks it, so no, it won't update. So you have to wait for it to install. Then you do the update. Then you can play your game. So that was... It probably took me 48 hours before I actually played Metal Gear Solid.
Well, we talked about this before, because I always assumed
and it's the same
my
with NHL.
broken disk drive was why it was taking so long to install some games. It's not. It's just my disk drive's fault is it's not going on to the spinner.
Yeah.
Basically. That's all that's slow.
If it doesn't sit right, then... Yeah.
So that's why a lot of I then went for the digital versions, because I thought if it's still going to take the same amount of time, I don't want that 20 minutes of trying to get a disc in on top of the potential 4 hours to install it. But once you get used to it, you do get to the pattern of, right, okay, I've got a new game, but I'm not going to be able to play this.
Yeah.
That's fine. The only thing I wish they would let you do is pre-install a game that you intend on buying on disc.
Yeah.
Because there's no harm in it. You could download it and it still say you need to buy this or insert a disc, which is what happens once
so if
it's
it gave
installed.
you like 72 hours, you could prime it,
and
then you pop your disc in.
Absolutely, because then on midnight launches, you could put your game in and be playing at midnight.
Yeah.
If you pre-order the digital version, you do that.
Yeah.
You get the unlock key, but you've already installed it. Like with Dishonored and Gears of War, I had both of those in advance. And when it came out, I had the game. With the discs, you would have to then wait and install.
Yeah.
And I think that's something they need to work on, where I get that having the install is a bit of a pointless thing in terms of having it active, but they're already doing it for other things. It just has to be a point of give you the option to have it installed and then, like I say, either buy the key or insert the disc.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, 90% of the frustration will be gone.
Sure. As I said, it was like 48 hours before I played Metal Gear.
And, if you knew you were going to get...
It was the same with NHL. Install, update, now I can play. Yeah. Now it's 11 o'clock at night. I have to go to work tomorrow.
Absolutely. And it is frustrating. But once you get the hang of it, you kind of...
Yeah, it just frustrates me that I have to get the hang of that for things to work.
Yeah.
It's okay with downloads because with Battlefront Beta, go on, purchase, whatever, and it does it in the background.
Yeah.
But that means I have to leave it on all the time to obviously work, so my electric bill goes up instead. So it's kind of like power saving mode. You mean off?
Yeah,
that's off. That's not power saving. That's off. So yeah, it annoyed me. It's still going to annoy me every time. It's going to be the same with Fallout 4.
Yeah,
I'm going to get home. I'm basically going to have to say, before we do anything else, before I say hello to Emma or my daughter, or do anything else, we're going to play in the garden. I need to put this disc in.
Well, this is it. I'm
Halo 5 has got a 9 gigabyte day one patch.
At the moment, I am at the point of I'm getting Fallout 4 on digital.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the wait.
No.
And if my connection or whatever is going to cause me to have to wait 12, 15 hours to play Fallout 4, I will murder people.
Yeah.
I will go out in the street and I will see the first person come across, be it a woman, a child, or a goose, and I will strangle it.
Yeah.
Because I've waited for this game years.
And this,
I don't want to be forced to wait
for
something I've paid for.
I'm on the late shift. No, back on the early shift. Right. So we'll be home by about 5-ish.
Yeah.
So it should be like, come on. Because technically I could play it before Annabelle finishes nursery.
Yeah.
But it won't happen because I have to do the install.
You'll just have to get Emma to install it for you.
Yeah, but I'll have to buy it home on the way home from work.
Right. I may have ordered it online.
No, I've not ordered it. I'll just go in and buy it. I may pre-order it. I get paid Friday, so I may pre-order it, then I can just go and pick it up.
You can go to Tesco's after midnight, the night before.
Yeah.
And then start installing it then.
Or get
go
it
to bed.
really early, like 4 a.m. Go and get it. I'll be the only person in Tesco. I can literally slide across the floor.
But then you'll find that they'll go, oh, we're not actually selling that until 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck off. Give me it now.
Yeah.
I need to get it. I need it.
And I will be in the local paper. There will be people pointing at me. I will be locals pointing at things. I'll be pointing at me. I'll get led away from Tesco to the police car.
Yeah. Look at this violent video game player.
I'll just be screaming about Gamergate just to really rub it in.
So if you're
It's about ethics in Tesco sale policy.
Guys, let's not go down that track. Right, well, you've mentioned Battlefront, so let's talk about Star Wars Battlefront, because we both played the beta.
We did.
The beta is basically the content that was available at Eurogamer.
Yep.
So we've now played
what we could have played at Eurogamer.
But actually, I'm glad I waited, given the depth of what was available in the beta. If I'd have got the attack just as my mission, I would have had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
By playing it through and leveling up a bit, I certainly got a better appreciation for the game.
Yeah.
I really liked the getting the escape pods mode more than anything. I loved that.
I enjoyed it, but it didn't hook me in a big way.
See,
and this is the thing now, because I don't play a lot of multiplayer first-person shooters.
No.
So I'm kind of like...
This is a third-person shooter.
Sorry, third-person shooter. You knew what I meant.
Yeah. Either way, you don't really play multiplayer shooters that much.
No. And so it's kind of like, what's the single-player story going to be? Is it going to be any good? I quite enjoyed Republic Commando.
There is no single-player.
There's single-player missions you can do, though.
Yeah, but there's no single-player campaign.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So there were single player bits, because obviously it was not available in beta.
Yeah.
So it's that's what I'm driving at, really. I've explained it poorly. It's like, what can I do as the single player? As I said, I enjoyed Republic Commando, but as you've just said, the single player isn't a story mode, campaign mode in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's fun, but I can't justify £50 on it.
No. I mean,
especially with Fallout, Tomb Raider.
I was only interested in the space combat. That was the only bit that interested me. But by being forced to just play the regular combat, I got quite good at it. And I was running around and I felt like hero of the rebellion.
Yeah.
And I genuinely loved playing it. And when I first saw someone jump with a jetpack that I didn't have, I was like, oh, God damn you. How did you get that? And it then made me want to keep playing, because I wanted the jetpack and I wanted thermal detonators and I wanted to be able to do this. And then when I got to actually play as Darth Vader and run around and just throw my lightsaber at people, I was thinking, oh, God, this is the best. I mean, everybody zeroes in on you. You don't last long. But the time I had was a blast.
I think there was a glitch. One of the games I played, I was the Empire. And chap who was Luke, obviously on the other team, again, got swarmed. When he died, obviously it glitched, so he was just floating in the air as if he was praying. It's kind of like, okay. But no, it
is weird, because when they die, their bodies just stay there.
Yeah.
And so you can end up with a few Lukes hanging around. But no, I really liked it. I'm still not buying it at launch.
No.
Because it's I don't know, maybe because I played a lot of Titanfall. And so I'm kind of used to this idea of not having a single player mode. Yeah. Like, even a multiplayer being a single player being a multiplayer. And the same with Destiny to a point. There isn't really a single player mode in the sense that you're playing and there's other people around. So it all depends on what sort of content there is in the final game.
You see, that may be another thing. If there is actually a regular group of us who play. Yeah. Because that's what happened with the original Modern Warfare on 360. There was a regular group of about half a dozen of us who would play together most nights. Yeah. But then when that group started to disperse, the interest dispersed. I mean, you talked about Destiny when I played with the Flares. Yeah. And obviously you started to team up with people, Welshbeck and things. It brings those games to life. Yeah. So
I have a plan for Battlefront.
Right.
Have you got EA access yet?
No.
Because you had all sorts of trouble with that, didn't you?
Not trouble as such. I just don't want to pay for it.
You couldn't pay for it though, could you?
I haven't even tried. I don't want to pay for this.
Oh, okay. You should pay for it. It's brilliant. It's 20 quid for a year.
Maybe, 20 quid,
Anyway, maybe. Star Wars Battlefront will be available for 3 days prior to release, completely. The whole game, full game, is available on EA Access. So I was thinking, we just get a load of people on EA Access, and we play it together. And then we see whether it's worth buying. Yeah. And then collectively we could decide, actually, if there's 5 of us that are going to go and buy this, that justifies the price a little bit more. Because like you said, it all hinges on who's buying it.
It does. The only thing I found difficult is, what night was it? Sunday night? I was literally the only person on my friends list online.
Yeah.
Literally. And it's kind of like, this is the problem though, because it's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm going to get Battlefront. But I've had this before. It's like, yeah, I've got that. But you never see these people. We're never online at the same time.
No.
For whatever reason. It's kind of, oh yeah, I'll get Battlefront. So, oh great, I'll get Battlefront. And then your paths never cross. Yeah. For whatever reason.
Well, this is what I'm hoping with the EA Access now becoming I mean, it works out $3.99 a month, or you can pay 20 quid and have a whole year. On there at the moment, they've got Dragon Age Inquisition.
I think that was what the
Hardline.
option that popped up was $3.99 a month. And I was like, piss off! I'm not paying $3.99 a month.
Or it's 20 quid for a full year.
Yeah, I didn't really
And,
look into it enough. It just went. Oof.
Yeah, so Battlefield Hardline, Dragon Age Inquisition, Plants vs Zombies, Titanfall, FIFA 14 and 15, the NHL from last year, the Madden games.
Yeah.
There's Tiger Woods, I think, has got one of those on there, or it will be on there soon. But any game that comes out, you get it a few days early.
Yeah.
And it's a full game with achievements, so it is possible to really hammer it and potentially finish a single player mode on the access side of it. And like I say, from that, I feel like I'm unsold on a day one purchase. But I think if there are people who are also in that boat, it might say, okay, let's give it a go. We'll arrange a time, and we'll all go online at the same time, and we'll all download the thing at the same time, and 2 days later we'll all have the thing.
I mean, the thing for me is it's not going to be a day one purchase. No way. Because Fallout. Fallout is going to dominate most of November for me, and then I've also got maybe Tomb Raider to finish. I hope to have that done because I know roughly where I am in the story. But Metal Gear, I've barely scratched the surface of. Games with Gold, Walking Dead. I've just downloaded Series 1 of that again. I'll play that through again.
Because that's on Game of Gold at the moment.
Exactly.
With 100 days. Did you ever play the 100 days?
No.
Because that's on there as well.
Okay, cool.
And that's interesting.
The last episode of Game of Thrones, Telltale's Game of Thrones, is out on the 17th of November.
And the first episode of that is now free for everyone.
It is, yep. So if you haven't played it yet, give it a go. So
I haven't, but I don't think I will yet. Because I don't know who anybody
so
is.
I'll have that to finish off. Rise of the Tomb Raider is higher on my priority list. I might wait for Rise of the Tomb Raider till December.
Yeah.
Because Fallout will dominate the time. I may as well wait, and maybe 10 or 20 quid cheaper. I may even wait till January.
Yeah.
Depending on what goes on. You know, I've got budgets to manage, so it doesn't make sense to buy 2 50-quid games. I'm only going to play one of them religiously for however many hours. And then there's Elder Scrolls still, which I can just keep going back to. And then when you come to January, Battlefront will be less, but Alien Isolation will be 10 quid or less. Shadows of Mordor. These are games I want to play.
Yeah.
So do I want to pay 20, 30 quid for Battlefront when I can pay 10 for that and probably get more out of it as a mostly single-player gamer?
Well, you're a ray of sunshine, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, I am.
All right, well, the jury's out on that. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be on the Access trial. And if you're in the Access by then it'd be good to play with you. Star Wars trailer, though, came out.
Yeah, that was very exciting.
Not quite as exciting for me as the new poster, which was
I liked both.
Very sexy poster.
It was. No Luke. No Luke on the poster.
No. I looked for him,
Whee.
but I couldn't see him. That broke when I was about to go and watch The Walk in 3D. And it was during the intermission.
That teach you for putting The Walk on instead of The Martian.
Well, I really like The Walk.
Cinema is punishing you.
I really like
upsetting me.
And so I opened it up, and there it was, all lovely and colourful and looking like a proper Star Wars poster. And then we knew the trailer was due to hit because
Monday Night Football.
Yeah. And then it hit, and I was worried. I'll be honest. I was worried they were going to show far too much. I knew it was going to be about 2.5 minutes because being a cinema, we get told in advance a lot of all this sort of stuff.
And that's generally in keeping with a lot of blockbusters. Teaser, first trailer, second trailer.
And if you look at the tendency with trailers at the moment, you get a teaser which will show you a hint of something cool.
Yep.
Then you get a trailer where it shows you some of the bits in the film. Then you have a main trailer that will ruin it. So Jurassic World showed raptors and motorbikes. Yep. Right? And the Mosasaurus and all these big moments. With Terminator Genesis, it showed the plot twist in the second trailer.
And that stopped me from going to see it, effectively.
Going into
which may have been a good thing. It may have saved me like £7 quid.
It's not that terrible, but it's worse for knowing the twist.
Is it better or worse than the most recent Conan film with Jason Momoa?
It's on a level par.
Okay, then I'm glad I didn't spend £7 because we watched that Conan film on Monday night and it was awful.
Yeah. It's because it doesn't live up to the originals at all. But on its own, it's okay. But like I say, if you know that twist going into it, you've lost half the effect.
The problem is that can films like that ever exist separate from their predecessors?
No.
Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
Can't be separate from Aliens and Alien 3 Director's Cut.
No.
I mean, Alien 3, we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Just Alien 3, the cinema release, is rightly panned. The Director's Cut salvages it bloody well.
Yeah.
I really like the Director's Cut. And it holds well with the first two. But
Yeah. But getting away from the point.
Yeah.
All these trailers keep showing far too much.
Yeah.
So with knowing there was going to be what they call the final trailer and knowing it was going to be 2.5 minutes and given how little we've seen of Andy Serkis and Max von Sydow and Luke in general, I was thinking, oh God, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Are they just going to go, here's all the plot, here's some great big effect shots and now
here's
you
the
know
Star
what's
Wars
gonna happen.
music.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
And instead, it was an incredibly well-made trailer
Yeah.
that echoed everything that was great about Star Wars
Yep.
without being obvious about anything. Like I
Yeah.
know less about the game. I know less about the film from that trailer
Than
than
you
I do
thought you
from
did
the
before.
back of a TV, back of a toy box.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of cool on the first teaser. I know you're quite excited from the first one, as a lot of people were. I was quite cool on it.
Yeah,
And then the next trailer came out. Then I got excited. And
that
this was
first
just
shot
ramped
on
it
the
up.
second trailer of going past the crushed Star Destroyer,
Yeah.
was enough because it sent prickles down my back. Just
and
thinking,
this one
oh,
took it up
ooh.
a notch. And I think Emma was on Facebook. She went, "Oh, you can order tickets for Star Wars." So literally straight on the Lux website, going, "They've got it! They've got it!" And I started screaming at the cat. I think it's like, "They've got it!" And he ran off. That was great because then I didn't have to feed him for
Yeah.
like another hour.
That-
He was being annoying.
There was a brilliant moment because we were talking about how we were going to market the tickets. And we'd had all these marketing updates saying tickets can be sold from 1 minute past midnight on the Monday. And we did this with Bond.
Yeah,
And when I went in at 9 o'clock, 2/3 of the tickets for the premiere show had gone.
yeah.
Like, not to people that walk in every day.
Is that
just-
the midnight showing?
Yeah.
because we pondered that one. It's like,
Well, this was for...
it was great. It's like, oh, yeah, they've got it. What time do you want to go? And she's like, oh, what is it? It's like, they've got one at 5 past midnight. It's like, it's up to you. What shift are you on that week? I'm on earlies. I'd have to get home about 6:30. She's like, it's up to you. It's like, I could not sleep. No, we'll go Thursday night. So we're going to the Thursday night
Absolutely.
showing.
I mean, it is. I shall be working the midnight show, so I'm annoyed because I can't watch it, and I've
Yeah.
got to listen to it, and potentially see bits of it while trying to assemble it. But yeah, we were deciding whether we were going to release them at midnight.
Yeah.
And after Bond had lost so many of the, or not lost tickets, but sold tickets so quickly online, I didn't think it was fair if you were the sort of person that maybe doesn't have a credit card.
Yeah.
But you couldn't buy tickets for that until we opened at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we basically took the executive decision to hold the release of tickets until 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And
But
then-
that's your right as a business anyway.
yeah.
So
And then our phone melted because I put on there that tickets were available.
was it like that scene in Shaun of the Dead where they're all at the pub door? There's people at the Lux door.
Pretty much that. I had a busy day anyway, but I took 500 bookings in a shift.
Nice.
They were coming from on the internet. We were having Facebook requests for it. it was just insane. But it's what you want. And it is, I mean, it's crashed websites of big film
Yeah.
companies and in America and Britain, they've released
The
tickets
hounds.
where people, they've released tickets for shows that have then been refunded.
Yeah.
So then it broke all the machines again. So by holding off, really, we kind of made it more stable and we've been in better control of it. But yeah, it's we're quite excited for it.
Wow.
And the trailer is one that I'm happy to recommend people watch because
Yeah.
it shows a lot
Without
without
giving too much
giving
away.
anything away.
That was so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's
So good.
and it's if you try and describe it, it's well, there's some wreckage and some stuff, shooties.
but I liked that it's one of those trailers, as you kind of said, it raises more questions than it
Yeah.
maybe answers.
Yeah.
It really
It
does.
echoes the original trilogy. Harrison Ford seems to be there specifically to say, you know what, the old films have now passed, or sort of the stories
Yeah.
of those films have passed into almost legend.
Yeah, yeah.
And now 30 years later, people are talking about it. It's like, well,
happened.
did these is this just a story that the rebellion told to motivate people?
Yeah.
Or is it a horror story from the Empire side of the power of the dark side?
Yeah.
Because it disappeared.
Yeah.
It's almost like those films where there's like magic has disappeared from the world, and then there's one character who's still capable of doing it or whatever. It's very much a Studio Ghibli kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where there's always that one character who can say, well, actually, all of this was real.
Yeah.
And Han Solo seems to have that role. And there's nobody better, I think, than that, because Harrison Ford is the biggest star to have come out of the original trilogy.
Oh, easily.
And for him to be there in that kind of grandfatherly, almost
I think even from a character
Ben
sense,
Kenobi
because
point of view.
Obviously in New Hope, Han Solo was very dismissive of Jedi and so forth, that sort of famous scene.
Yeah.
Blaster by my side scene. So that, is, again, within Star Wars lore, adds a certain amount of, say, gravitas to it.
Yeah.
Because the guy who just didn't believe, and all of a sudden it's like, yep.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that's I like that. There's a brilliant image going around where they've taken a line from it going, yeah, it's all the stories are true. And they're going, what? Like, about Greedo shooting first? And it's just Han going, get out. But, yeah, like I said, I had huge fears watching it, thinking, I just don't want to know much about the story before the film comes out. And they've done a brilliant job of keeping it under wraps.
Yeah.
Like, even the marketing updates, all we get sent is, it's 30 years after the Battle of Endor.
Yeah.
We've got some characters, some stuff's going to happen. That is it. That's all they've given us. I've had to try and write a promotional email about it.
Yeah.
And I've had to kind of go to all
Surely,
weird corners of the internet to find material.
Surely your promotional email is just
Star Wars
is out on this date, book now.
Just the poster.
Yeah.
Plus
book now underneath and like a link.
And then loads of like dancing baby
Ewoks.
animation, dancing Ewoks animations. Yeah. And say to book your ticket, send $5 to Happy Dude.
Yeah.
But no, it's weird because I kind of want to make it have some sort of idea of what the story's going to be, but we don't, and I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Even as somebody who has to sell this as a product, I don't really want to know. I'm happy not knowing.
Isn't this one of the things that sells itself though?
Oh, absolutely.
Like Bond.
And it's weird because going into it, there's a lot of skepticism. There's a lot of people who are enjoying jumping up and down and going, no, I don't care about Star Wars. Oh, God, I don't care. And then you have the whole boycott Star Wars hashtag.
I saw that today with Back to the Future.
Yeah.
It's just like, sod off.
You know what? It's Back to the Future Day. We're recording on Back to the Future Day.
Oh, yeah.
When this goes out, the entire Back to the Future trilogy will be set in the past.
Yeah.
Which is quite sad.
Well, it's
but
bound to happen
we're living in the future, Rob.
Yeah.
With a
Tory government.
With a laptop running Vista.
Vista laptop.
Living in the future!
Yay.
And a HP laser mouse.
Yeah.
With,
my flying car already flies because I went too fast over the speed bump and temporarily took off.
And my most advanced technology is my phone.
Yeah.
But Back to the Future didn't predict that.
I did like the way somebody put that. It's like, talking about hoverboards today on my tiny computer where I'm typing with nothing but my thumb. It's like, yeah, that's fair.
It is. It's brilliant. But yeah, there are these people that just want to go, I don't care about Star Wars. Like, right, fine. You don't care about Star Wars. I don't care about the poetry of Nietzsche. But you might.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I wouldn't go, oh God, philosophers writing poetry, that's the worst thing ever. Because that's a dick move. And, you know, there are plenty of things I can't really raise any enthusiasm about. But I think it's fair to say that Star Wars has got a big enough following to justify a bit of a...
I'm trying to remember the story now. Somebody actually used the term dick move on BBC Radio Cambridgeshire the other morning, and I can't remember what story it was. Genuinely can't think.
Was it a man called Richard who was moving house?
No, it was generally like, yeah, that was a bit of a dick move, and they just sort of carried on. And I'm just like, they just said dick move on Radio Cambridgeshire. That's quite nice. I enjoyed that.
Reminded me of the Jeremy Kyle, the Right Stuff clip when the guy rang in to talk about the Liberal Democrats, and they said, do you think Liberal Democrats are doing it? He goes, and then you've got to also take into account the fact that our Prime Minister had put his cock in a dead pig's mouth. And they came off immediately. But I just love the fact that no matter how much you try and censor the British public, they will always find a way. Like, you might not want to talk about it, but the British public will ring in endlessly and want to talk about the Prime Minister's not
any
a pig.
public, anything like that. There was one on, I can't remember which radio station in America. It was with John Tortorella, who was an NHL coach. Right. As of today, he is again, but the phone was related to next year's World Cup of Hockey.
Okay.
So he's going to coach Team USA. No, I can't remember. I've forgotten who he's going to coach. But anyway, he had a phone in about that.
Yep.
And the first 5 calls were prank calls. First 5. First 1, yeah. But no, they managed to get through 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 before it's kind of like, it's getting a bit awkward now. So yeah, that was clear. I like that. Who was screening those calls probably got fired.
Well, that's the thing. But you could, if it was me, I wouldn't ring in and go, "Oh, I'm going to prank call it."
No,
I would be very much.
Yeah, I have a serious
I've got
question.
A valid point about what word?
Zimbabwe?
No, the machines that clean the ice.
Zambonis.
Zambonis. I was wondering about.
Serious question about Zimbabwe. I'd like to ask a hockey coach what he thinks about it.
I was
please.
wondering what you thought about renaming the Zimbabwe's, the Zimbanos.
Know what you think about renaming Zimbabwe Wayne Gretzky land?
Yeah, because that should happen. I want. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can remember the name of the hockey team. I would like to see the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yes. Become the new leader of Zimbabwe. And then they can have their faces on $1 billion notes.
Yeah.
That would be cool. And then when you get onto the air,
Which
you just
ironically is how much it costs to get a ticket to watch Toronto play.
Was it actually the Maple Leafs? Was that
Yeah,
the
it's
right
Maple
name?
Leafs, yeah. I like that it's partly starting to bleed into popular culture now. So you see people with Maple Leafs hats, LA Kings hats quite often.
Right.
Because they've done well over recent years. Los Angeles is cool. I'm always tempted to start having a conversation with people about it. It's like, they haven't started very well this year. What blood? and things like, there was it. A girl I used to work with, Shelley, her boyfriend at the time used to buy a lot of hockey shirts from the place in Peterborough, Venom, when they sold them.
Yeah.
And he used to turn up in St. Louis Blues shirts. This is when St. Louis were terrible. They're brilliant now. They were terrible then. I used to just sort of mock him, and he didn't have a clue what was on the move.
I'm trying to remember. When I was young, it was something at the Pirates, but I'm trying to think it was the New Jersey...
Peterborough Pirates.
No,
team in
Peterborough Pirates. It was something... It was like an American sportswear thing, but it had like a skull and crossbones on. And lots of people were wearing them at the time. So it's mid-90s.
Pittsburgh Pirate?
Maybe. It might not have even been hockey. It might have been American football. I don't know what it was. Actually, yeah, it was. It was the Raiders.
Oakland Raiders.
Like the Viking-y thing.
Oakland Raiders with the guy with the patch.
Yeah. That's the one. That's why I was thinking Pirate. And loads of people were wearing that, even though they clearly had no interest whatsoever in the sport. But it was just a weird fashion for a while, like Ramones t-shirts for people that never listened to punk music.
Yeah.
It just seems to happen every now and then where people wear them. You don't really get it with other sports. It seems to be American sports tends to come across like basketball shirts.
Yeah.
You see people wearing basketball shirts who aren't into basketball, but you wouldn't necessarily see someone wearing, I don't know, West Bromwich Albion shirt, ironically.
Not ironically, no.
Or just...
So it does often surprise me, I don't know why, because the global TV rights, how popular the English Premier League is in North America. How many people I follow for hockey reasons also follow English football.
Yeah.
Proper football, not hand egg.
No. Well, let's move on from Star Wars.
Yeah, let's talk about some actual games on this gaming podcast.
Well, we will in a minute.
Oh, yeah, true. I'll just recheck the running order. Oh, well.
So I've been watching Heroes Reborn, which is surprisingly good. Had my concerns.
Yep, we both did initially.
Yeah, it hasn't been shown in the UK yet, and much like always, I got a bit annoyed, as I did with Agent Peggy Carter, where I don't ever want to pirate anything. But when you only give me the choice to pirate something or not watch it, I'm going to pirate it every time. I'm fed up of it now. I used to try and be moralistic about it and think, no, I can wait. But when there's no time in place, like Peggy Carter, it was a year and a bit before that came through.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not waiting that long. Like, it's fine. I will watch it when it comes out. I'll give you your ad revenue. You're not losing anything for me pirating it. I'm not in America and choosing not to watch it on your channel. I'm just sitting at home. And Heroes Reborn, I don't want spoilers. And Heroes is one of those things that has a fan base that does want to talk about it.
Which was it? Was it Black Mirror? That although it was created by Charlie Brooker, British, produced by a British company, it was shown in America, but it wasn't shown here because there was a dispute over, I think Channel 4 either didn't want it or was in negotiation. Amazon Prime or Intrade. There was some negotiation. So basically Black Mirror appeared in America, fine.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Black Mirror, this is a new one, yada, yada, yada. And everybody's all like, when's it on Channel 4? And it's like, might not be. What do you mean might not be? And it's like, negotiate. It's what?
Yeah. It's odd.
It's stupid. It's why piracy exists.
Yeah. And this is it. And so Heroes Reborn, pirate the hell out of it because I wanted to see how they continued the storyline. So at the end of Series 4 of Heroes, Claire Bennett jumps off a big wheel.
Yep.
And proves to the world that heroes exist.
Mm-hmm.
This new
And
series...
she wakes up in Nashville.
The new series starts up with Noah Bennett going to Primatech's headquarters in Odessa, New Texas. And basically there's a new centre for the kind of merging of people with powers and people without.
Yep.
Just like a unity parade.
Okay.
There's a celebration. And he goes there to see Claire do a speech.
Okay.
Because they've not spoken for a while. Then the whole place explodes and kills almost everybody in it.
Oh.
And
That's how that awkward moment going, where's he? Explosion?
yeah, well, that's it. And so it then kind of picks up with this whole idea of there
Hinder's
being
in the
new-
shower, it was all a dream.
There's a whole new conspiracy going on. There's a whole new kind of big bad thing going on. Something big bad's going to happen, and some people want to stop it, some people don't. The guy who played Chuck, I can't remember his name now.
Nor can I. I've also drawn a blank.
Yeah,
Zach Levy?
yeah, that sounds right.
Zachary Levy.
Yeah, he is kind of like a weird good and bad guy.
Okay.
In that his child was killed in the attack.
Right.
So he's now killing people with powers because he feels that nobody should have powers because it's just caused nothing but pain. So he's going around to support groups and hunting them down. And so he's kind of like almost the Sylar character.
Right.
Instead of wanting to absorb powers, he just wants to remove them. But his motivation is good
Yeah,
and strong.
it is Zachary Levy. So it's Zachary Quinto, Zachary Levy. When they resurrect heroes again, I assume it will be Zachary Gordon from Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Could very
Because
well
they have
be.
to have a villain whose actor's name is Zach.
It could be. But yeah, I've watched the first couple of episodes and really, really rate it. It's not got the same level of excitement that I had for when I started properly watching Heroes properly, because it's got a lot of ground to cover. He's got a lot to catch up.
Yeah.
And watching it, I then think, actually, I'm not at all worried about X-Files now. Because if they can successfully bring back Heroes,
You'd hope
and
they
it
could do the same.
and it feels like Heroes. I mean, it feels like Heroes right from the off.
Yeah.
The only misstep, and it's purely me being finicky, is there's a character who, when she opens a sword, a special sword, which might be the sword that Hero had in the original series,
Yep.
or it might be another power sword. When she opens it, she appears in a video game.
Okay.
So there's a pro gamer that when he got to a certain level, he found a hidden file that showed this address, and he went to the address, and the girl who's in the game was in that room.
Right.
And it turns out she doesn't realise she's in the game, and then she goes into the game and she's trying to rescue her father in game. But it's all done in like kind of 2004 visuals.
Right.
And I kind of feel like they could have just made it look more like a realistic video game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just me being picky because I'm a gamer. And I want gaming to be reflected realistically. But, it allows ultra-violence, basically, because she's lopping people's arms off, but with a PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
Other than that, can't fault it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it pans out. It's only, I think, 8 to 10 episodes. And hopefully it'll come back longer term afterwards, because these event series seem to be like testing the water.
I kind of like them, though, because 20-odd episodes can drag.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Things can be spread too
That's why
thin.
British TV is always respected, because it's not that we're better at making TV, it's just by having a 6-episode structure,
Yeah.
you don't run out of steam.
You've got the 6 good episodes and none of the shitty
Well, it's like
filler.
Friends. Friends got huge popularity, but I dare say if you watched every episode back to back, you'd want to just throw yourself under a bus after about 2
Friends
series.
maybe want me to throw myself under a bus anyway.
Whereas Faulty Towers, you could watch everything that's ever been made in an afternoon. Same with Blackadder. You know, you've got, 12 hours of that?
Yeah.
Total, across, 12 years of making them. So, I think the 10 episodes is a good... They do it with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's only 10 episodes a series now. It's like America's kind of scaled it back a little bit and thinking, we've got enough channels, we don't need to have 26 episodes every year.
Reigns in the production costs as well, I must do.
Absolutely. So you can spend a little bit more on your, special
You can
effects and your
spend
stuff.
2/3 the budget because you can bump up certain areas, like say special effects. You're still saving money.
Yeah.
You're hopefully getting 10 quality episodes rather than 10 quality and 10
Same with
filler.
Doctor Who. Doctor Who at the moment is phenomenally good. Loving it. But if they said, would you like 26 episodes a year? No. Because they could not keep that up.
No. I'm concerned about the next episode of Doctor Who.
I'm very worried about next episode, Doctor
They
Who.
should have left that alone. I think it's just because they got Maisie Williams. It's like, we've got to make the most of her while she's available.
It'll be interesting to see the results of him breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Because that's what that is.
Yeah.
Rather than him just breaking the rules and then leaving a character who's immortal, like with Captain Jack was in the first series. Because he didn't know that Captain Jack had become immortal. Almost the Captain Jack character became the comedy sidekick because he couldn't die.
Yeah.
So with her, it kind of suggests that... I think it'll be interesting. Anyway, the setting looks interesting, and Maisie Williams is the person who's going to end the world one day.
Yeah.
So, it seems fair. I wonder whether they're trying to set her up as a new companion.
Maybe.
Because, she's got a following within the Game of Thrones fan base that would cross over nicely. We know Clara's leaving this year. So
depends how filming and things line up.
Yeah. But, with 10 episodes, probably do it.
Maybe.
It films in Ireland, doesn't it, Game of Thrones?
Yes.
So
Northern Ireland,
you've only got to go between Wales and Ireland.
Depends where her character is, though, because some of it's Croatia as well and things like that. So
All right. I'll try and look clever. Another TV series, very good, Scream TV series. I talked about the first couple of episodes a while back. I pirated them because it wasn't available in the UK. Then they announced it was coming to Netflix, so I stopped pirating them and waited. And then it came out on Netflix, and I watched them all in 2 nights.
Hey.
And I loved it. I loved it more than any of the Scream sequels, which really surprised me. The twist felt like a Scream twist.
Right.
The characters felt like Scream characters. The plot was more interesting because it's nothing to do with Woodsboro.
Yeah.
It's a complete new reimagining of the idea. And because of that, they haven't had all these spurious links to Sydney's life like they had to. Because it was just like, oh, well, your mother had an affair and this is your brother. And this is now the person who your mum cheated on, and then their dad left and then they're annoyed. And then this person found out that your mother had punched him in the face in 1938. All this ridiculous
The web
stuff.
got too much.
Yeah. How many serial killers can be caused by one slut of a mother? Like, surely not 5. But apparently, in the world of Scream, that's possible. With
She got around.
Scream the TV series, it kind of does Friday the 13th and Scream mixed together. Oh, it's creepy when it needs to be creepy. It's smart when it needs to be smart. There are red herrings and stupid teenagers and everything I wanted from it. So yeah, I really heartily say if people have Netflix,
Do you know what really
give it a
confused
go.
me the other day?
What's that?
Normally I have my phone on silent.
Okay.
I'll just pick up messages or whatever as I pick it up. Emma went out the other night. I went to bed. I put volume on. So if she rings, she's got a problem, whatever, she'll let me know she's okay. I'll hear it. Lying in bed, I kind of fell asleep when she rang. Could not, for the life of me, understand at this point in time why I could hear the Parks and Rec theme tune. Not realising, or forgetting, I changed my ringtone to the Parks and Rec theme tune. First time it'd actually been used. So yeah, 2:30 in the morning. And all I've got is the Parks and Rec theme tune. I'm just thinking I'm going insane or having a weird dream. And
Weirdly,
Ron Swanson's going to get into bed with me in a minute.
When Parks and Rec first series was shown on BBC Two.
Yeah.
Or BBC Four, right? It was about 2 o'clock in the morning because they put it on a stupid time.
They did.
So maybe you just travel back in time.
Oh God. It was just like, oh, I'm going to Parks and Rec. I don't know what's going on.
That is an odd one. It is an odd one. Oh, we've got a dog coming on to the show.
Special guest this week.
Interviewing a dog for the first time. Does the dog need a toilet?
Yep.
Yeah? Going to say hello to anybody? You're not going to say hello? We're at Claire's house. She's kindly lent us a table. But there is a dog that we've mentioned on the show before.
Yeah.
So there it is in the background there.
Postman's still out there.
So while the dog gets fed, you've had an interview with a man.
Yes. Andrew Bennison from Prospect Games, the people who make Unbox, which we talked about on our post-Euro game show.
Self-delivering parcels in a retro 3D platformer adventure game. And how was the interview? Did it go well?
It did. It went very well.
We should probably play the interview.
I think we should.
Shall we press a button that will play an interview? Let's imagine there's a button.
And we'll push it right now. And
instead of just editing it, then so I'll push it. Hang on. Let's get Claire to push the button. Okay, push the button. She's gone.
She's gone.
I thought she was stood behind me.
She can't stand the pressure of pushing
I made
the
a button out of a sprite lid.
Yep.
There we go. And press.
Joining me now on the Back in the Game podcast, the managing director of Manchester-based developer Prospect Games, Andy Bennison. Hi, Andy. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Joining me today to talk about the current project for Prospect Games, the little game called Unbox, which Nathan and I saw at EGX recently. Now, I'd like you to describe Unbox in your own words, if you could, for me, please.
Sure, well, Unbox is a physics platformer. It's about the ultimate postal service, self-delivering cardboard boxes.
So, there's the interesting part from the go, self-delivering cardboard boxes. Where did that idea come from?
Well, we did the Unreal 4 Game Jam back in December because we were already working the Unreal 4 engine for a stealth action title that has since been shelved because we decided, hey, Unreal 4 Christmas Game Jam, what better way to take a break from games development by doing more games development? So we stayed up late for that. They announced the theme, which was What's in the Box, and we sat around for ages, like kind of umming and ahhing, like what do we do with this theme? We had like 3 days to develop this, and after like a couple of hours, Jack comes in. He's got this demo of this box rolling around, and it's unpackaging itself. So it's like boxes within boxes. So that was us nailing the theme, what's in the box. And it was like stacking itself on top of itself and exploding out of itself. And we were like, this is absolutely bizarre. Let's keep going with this idea. And 3 days later, we had this sort of weird split-screen multiplayer racing game where you're all boxes and you're racing down obstacle courses and there's fans blowing you in the air and there's a dynamite everywhere blowing things up and there's random things happening. And we were like, we didn't win the jam, but loads of people liked it. And that was the important part for us, was that we really enjoyed it. We were getting a lot of attention from the other Unreal devs and people on the forums. And then we were like, well, this is more interesting than we got currently with our previous title. And we were thinking, if standing out in the market is what really matters at this point, if discoverability is at an all-time low and you need to have something unique, we have something unique. Let's do this. And 9 months later, here we are with Unbox.
Yeah, it's certainly unique. I'll give you that. And I had a little play on it at EGX, and I don't want us to get stuck into it with navel gazing, but I really enjoyed it. It was probably one of my games of the show. You've also mentioned the What's in the Box theme that kind of triggered the development here. Are there any other particular influences or inspirations that served you and the team during the development of Unbox?
Definitely. Well, like right off from the game jam, as soon as we had it rolling around, and we were like, wouldn't it be funny if there was more of us rolling around? Like the influences from games like Marble Blast and Super Mario, like a lot of games that we used to play, like either a few years ago or way back in the day, like those old school Nintendo games. All of those started coming into play. Like we basically, in the spirit of a game jam, just decided, like, what do we like from a game? Well, I like Mario Kart's like weapon system. Let's try putting that in. So we put that in and it works. And it's like, all right, well, I like this, I like that. And we basically just smushed together as many ideas, experiences, like things from different genres that we've played for our entire lives. And it's, for the most part, it's all bizarrely stuck. And it's worked.
Yeah, you mentioned Mario Kart there. Obviously, with the split-screen local multiplayer, there's obviously a strong influence there, especially as you mentioned with the weapons play as well. It very much started out as a multiplayer game from talking to you and your team. At what point did the single-player option sort of enter the conversation?
Well, it was early on. We knew we needed some kind of a single player that, we really enjoy games like Samurai Gun. We played that all the time when it came out. The problem was that there wasn't much beyond, if you didn't have 4 mates, you couldn't really get past the super difficult AI, and there wasn't a single player, so you couldn't really do anything on your own. There was, like, you could do a local multiplayer just against bots, but it wasn't that fun. And we were like, right, well, we have the potential to make a game which we could do in a few months and ship it, and people only play it when their friends are around, and then, forget it after a while, like Samurai Gun. Or we could put in single player and keep people captivated with that for much, much longer. But single player was much different for most of the development of this game. It was meant to be more obstacle courses and like little mini challenges. And about 2-3 months ago, I had a sort of eureka moment where we didn't really feel like the challenges were that interesting, and I realized making a game that has a lot of like Mario-esque influences, what if we made what if we took the arenas that we were making in multiplayer, these sort of big bath arenas, and be way bigger, and just put like things you could collect on them and things you could shoot? What would that be like? And so the single player that you saw at EGX, that had only been in development for about 2 months by the point you'd seen it. So it's really early days, but that show was basically like is this going to be well received, and we were fortunate enough to see it. Yeah, people really enjoyed playing it. It was a big sigh of relief, because when I came in and told the guys, like, hey, I want us to completely change direction with this, everybody was like, oh god, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I was like, trust me, this is like, I've never been more certain about something on this project than this right here, and it turns out it's paid off. But I mean, obviously we've still got a whole single player to finish, so it's it's going to be quite a challenge going forwards. But
yeah, it's interesting. I can't help but agree with what you were saying. Obviously, as you said, some multiplayer games are great fun, but they can fall by the wayside. Whereas the single player, as I got hands on with it at EGX, and I loved it. It's absolutely absorbing. We sort of talked about at the top of the interview about quite a simplistic idea, almost, and almost strange in a way, but it plays so beautifully. It was one of the games that was recommended to Nathan and I before we came to EGX, and we're glad we checked it out. From the multiplayer point of view, it's, as we said, local multiplayer, so you've got the split screen. Was that a very conscious effort to make it a social multiplayer rather than an online one?
Sure, well, it was kind of like, it was twofold. Like, I'll be honest, from a technical standpoint, online multiplayer is incredibly difficult, especially when you have such a physics-driven game. And for us, at least initially, it was a lot more, I wouldn't say realistic physics destruction, but it was like, if you knock something over and if a wall breaks apart, it is those chunks falling apart, the model is breaking up. It's not like games like Battlefield where they sort of very, very cleverly disguise destruction. It looks complex and is actually quite basic. Very effective, I'm not putting it down, but we were trying to do stuff where it's like, if you knock a building down, all those bits you can play with, and tracking that on a network with potentially 4 or 8 or 16 people would be, it's doable, but it'd be very difficult, and we're not that experienced with it. So there was the technical limitations, but there was also that desire of like, okay, let's be smart about how we're making this game, but let's also make something that kind of brings people together. And again, in the spirit of being a bit unique, there's not that many local multiplayer games. There has definitely been a resurgence with things like Samurai Gun and Towerfall, and obviously games like Mario Kart 8 are still very popular on the split screen front, but there's not that many of them overall. And we felt like, well, we started this game channel with local multiplayer. That's what people really responded to. It's what we really like, and most of all, it's what we know because we grew up playing it. I mean, we still, over the last few years, we've been playing, like F-Zero and GoldenEye and Nightfire, and all split screen experiences. I think are really good in their own sort of ways, and we've learned a lot from them. So we were like, let's just, instead of trying to do something gigantic, online, let's do something that we know we can do from a technical standpoint, and we know we can do from a sort of our design competencies. Like, we have the skill set to make this. So that's really why we went forward with split screen.
Yeah, and it's positive to see, I think, because obviously Halo 5 removing the split screen co-op was quite a big news story. I think a lot of people were kind of upset that 343 Industries took that out, because there is certainly a market for these split screen games, absolutely. And Mario Kart, again, is a great example of that. But moving forward, is online multiplayer something on the horizon? Is that a next step for Unbox once it's launched?
Unlikely for Unbox One. Just because, again, we've not built the game. Like, it's one of these things. It's kind of like adding free-to-play mechanics or VR functionality to a game halfway through its development. It's doable, but you're setting yourself up for a fall. Online is something that really needs a lot of consideration from the get-go, and we've very much considered this game a local multiplayer game. So Unbox One will be a local multiplayer. It's going to be on things like Steam because we have just been greenlit, so there will be a very limited element of online interaction, just at least being able to see your friends and what they're playing. We're dabbling with ideas like Workshop that could be introduced down the line, but it's very early days. We literally got through greenlight 4 days ago, so not a time to read through the documentation. So there may be some very limited online features, and we did want to originally do a lot more on that front, where you wouldn't necessarily be playing with people, but you might be getting like ghost data or whatever. That stuff that had to kind of be pulled back due to complexities, time restraints, might be added later, but it's, honestly, that's more stuff looking forward to future projects. I'd very much, I grew up as a child doing local multiplayer, and then as soon as I got Halo 2, that was pretty much, almost completely transitioned to online play. I'm very keen to be able to do something online in the future, and if that's a future Unbox title, then that would be an amazing opportunity. But I mean, I agree that, it sounds crazy that like Halo 5 would not have local, but then I got at EGX to play the Warzone mode, and it played really well. It was awesome. It was something completely different. I really enjoyed it. So like split screen always felt like that was kind of the spiritual core of Halo.
Definitely.
It's kind of what made it. At the same time, you can't stop progress. For as much as I think our game's going to do good in that the world needs more split screen local multiplayer, the market as a whole doesn't want it. There's plenty of people who do, but that's not the direction we're going in.
There's not enough of a market to justify it for some developers.
Not for something like not for something like Halo 5, especially. They need to be online focused. They imagine if Battlefront was local multiplayer only. People would be like, right, I'm not going to buy that. It's crap. I'll buy Call of Duty instead. So they're going where the market is.
Yeah, you referred to it as Unbox One a couple of times there. Does that mean there is a lot further reaching plan for the Unbox series?
It's something we thought about. I mean, there's no current plans to do more Unbox. I mean, it'd be presumptuous, really. Really, it's more a case of there's so many ideas, there's so many things that we've come up with for Unbox that it could be an Unbox 1 because we compile all that stuff and make Unbox 2, but it's one of these things where we're not really going to know until we get to that point where we release. It was kind of like with the single player. As confident as I was, it wasn't until we gave it to people and they were coming back saying like, this is brilliant, that it was like, right, that paid off. So it's one of these things for any business, especially games business, where it's like you've got to plan ahead, but you can't be doing like a 5-year plan. That's stupid because you have no idea how the market's going to change. You have no idea how well your game's going to be received. So you've got to be juggling a few, or spinning a few plates. Sorry, you've got to be spinning a few different project ideas, but you can't really commit to one until you're getting closer to release, because that's if Unbox goes viral and does incredibly well. Well, then you're suggesting we might not do Unbox 2. We might just turn Unbox 1 into a project that we just add to and add to and add to, like Starbound or any one of these early access titles. Maybe the game becomes like that. Who knows? I'm very much a proponent of sort of plan ahead, but be ready to change direction at any point because you do not know what's around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned, obviously, some of the shows you've done. We met up with you and we spoke to one of your developers, Chris, as well at EGX. I think you guys are at Play Expo in Manchester this weekend. Have you found going to those shows has been a real boost to you as a smaller studio, and has there been any pitfalls that you've come across while you've been there?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really big boost in terms of forming a consumer base, especially EGX, because now we have something that I think is it's sellable.
Yeah.
It just needs a bit more work. So it's been really good forging connections with people, getting them on board with the idea, getting them like playing it and really enjoying it. And at the same time, we're getting really good feedback and sort of like basically free QA on making the title better. They're playing it, and without them having to say stuff, we can just observe them doing things and realize, crap, we need to fix that, and somebody got stuck in a rock. Okay, we need to fix the collision on that model. So it's really good for jotting notes. It's really good for getting the game out there and getting people interested in buying. Some events are really good for meeting the press, sort of forging a connection with them. Which again, EGX has been really good for us since EGX. Been into Struggloid, Kotaku, Rock Paper, Eurogamer Portugal. We didn't get Eurogamer. Eurogamer Portugal loves it, which is awesome. So if we weren't doing events, you're not meeting. If you're not doing events, you're not meeting journalists, which means you're going to find it very difficult to get coverage. And you're also not meeting your consumer base. I mean, we've had people tweeting us, and we had people at EGX say, we played this at Res, we played it at Insomnia. Great to see you again. And it's like, that's really cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool because it's people who care about you enough that they've come back to play your game after 8 months, and you get to show them something that's so much better. That to me is so much more valuable than a couple of thousand people just playing it and going, moving on.
Yeah. Again, as a small studio, does funding a project like this is it difficult, or is it something that's gone pretty well for you guys throughout the Unbox development cycle?
Both. It's for us. It's gone really well, but it's also been extremely difficult. I mean, the big problem right now, I think, for most developers is you only have a few options. You have self-funding, you have someone else funding it, and for the most part, calling the shots, or you have doing work for hire alongside your actual project, or just working a job and doing it in your spare time. All of them have massive pitfalls. I opted for the kind of pull money together and self-fund it as much as possible.
Yeah.
It has gone well, but it has been an extremely tough sort of process in order to do that. We've had to do the whole, personal funding and friends and family and all that kind of biz. And you don't have the sort of the grey cloud over your head that you might get from giving away equity and not knowing if the person now calling some of the shots is going to be right for you. But it's worked out so far for us, but it's been very difficult, and I think this is the number one problem for most developers in terms of getting themselves started up. Is not even getting people to discover the game, it's just how are you even going to finance it to bring the people on board and get the software you need and go to the events that you have to be at to get that exposure in the first place. It's been very difficult, but we've been very lucky, and I'm also incredibly tenacious. So that's pretty much how we've pulled through thus far.
I know some indie game developers have expressed concerns about the way the pricing structure are going with things like Humble Bundle, and it seems to be a sort of a forever shrinking part of the development cycle and the genre. Do you have any concerns about the way indie game development is heading, or do you think it's in a good place right now? Certainly EGX, it looks like it's in a pretty good place.
I think for consumers it's in the best place ever. I think for developers it's quickly becoming not the worst place ever, but just highly, highly competitive. I mean, indie developers have always existed. The indie tag only came about because of this time period that allowed individuals to suddenly make massive quantities of money from their games. I was on Newgrounds like back in 2002 playing games, and none of those people really making much cash. But they're no different than the indie developers now. The difference was that the internet provided us means to transfer money much easier and to sort of skip the middleman, and that created this period of insane growth where pretty much everybody trying their hand at this was making money. That meant everybody was really happy. No one was really an enemy or a competitor, and it meant everyone was very friendly, which is where this kind of indie dev community came about from. It was, we were living in effectively a Garden of Eden. There was no reason to hate your enemy. You loved thy neighbor and all that. It was great. As soon as Steam suddenly started releasing more games per month than they did in the entirety of the year before, suddenly everyone had to compete a bit more. Suddenly there's a lot less money to go around, and now we're at the point where, as you saw with EGX, for consumers, such a wealth of choice. For games developers, my God, we're not making any money. Like, people are not making money. Some people are, but the majority are not. There was some study I read. I should have had it on hand for something like this, but it was stunningly bad news. I think it was a Tiger Finance report, or it was a Yuki report, one of the two, basically showing that while the industry's made billions, basically only like the top 2% of like indies are making something like 80% of the money generated in the indie spheres. It was some horrendous stat like that, and a lot of people responded to me when I posted it around, and they were like, "Is this true?" And I was like, well, stats kind of say it, and even if you didn't have that, like, anecdotally, you can see it happening. So, I mean, it's a massive problem, and people are going to have to either become much more competitive, or they will die, and their businesses will fail. And a lot of indie developers were not treating this like a business from the get-go. They were treating it like a hobby that just happened to generate millions for a lot of people. And those days are over. If you don't treat it like a business, if you don't get competitive, you will fail. And I think we're right on the cusp of things getting really dire for a lot of people, because they don't see it coming, or like this indie-pocalypse conversation that's going on, which is pretty much this topic, which is the idea that all of a sudden everything's going to come crumbling down. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. It's just things are going to get harder and people are going to get squeezed out. It's not a collapse. It's more like the window is closing and far less people will get through the gap. There's going to be a lot more splatters on the window pane.
You mentioned Steam there, and great to hear, or great to see on Twitter the other day, that you guys have been greenlit now for Unbox on Steam. How much has that changed the game, just in general? No pun intended, because as you mentioned, their output has increased a lot. They're getting a lot more big franchise titles like Football Manager appearing on Steam as well now. Is that something that's, again, both helped and hindered you as a developer?
This is almost all being driven by Steam and how they're changing and allowing more games on their platform, which makes discoverability very difficult. They're also, my biggest problem with Steam, or the biggest challenge I think we face, is their unpredictability.
Yeah.
Is all of a sudden they're like, we're announcing this thing and it will completely change the game, and we didn't tell anyone, any of the developers didn't consult you, didn't ask you, which is why things like the modding thing completely failed.
Yeah.
Because they stepped in and said, we've assessed how we're going to make your lives better, here's a system to do it. And everyone went, that's not what we needed at all. It's the opposite of what was needed.
Yeah.
And if you just consulted us, most people came forward. I was a modder once, and I suggested the same thing, where it was like, well, if you'd done like you did with the Team Fortress maps and stuff, where you did stickers, where it was like an optional thing, you could donate, that would have been great. But they didn't ask anybody, and they just assumed. And so stuff like Greenlight is kind of, it's not working towards its intended purpose anymore. Now we're just seeing game after game being put through. I did a lot of research for our Greenlight campaign, and when I clicked launch, I told the guys, I have no idea how this is going to go. I have no idea if we're going to get to the top 100. I don't even know if when we get there eventually that will matter. Just because there's no rhyme or reason to who's getting through, other than games that seem to do pretty good. Now, we were able to launch straight up into the top 5 in a couple of days. We got up to number 2, I think, after about 5 days. So I think that pretty much sealed the deal for us. But I was very much firefighting the campaign the entire time, making sure the votes kept coming in. And at some point, they're going to ditch Greenlight and go with something else. And it's going to completely change everything again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the big problem right now is Steam's made it so easy for everyone to sell, and at the same time, they've made themselves utterly unpredictable.
Obviously, through Steam, the PC version of the game is very much the focus right now. Moving forward, are there any plans to try and bring Unbox to maybe the Xbox marketplace, with a lot of developers looking at the Xbox One now as the possible next step beyond the PC realm?
Well, it's from the get-go one of these things where we were developing in Unreal 4, like we had the ability to export to so many platforms, and I started to learn very quickly, like, you can export to Mozilla, like you can have your Unreal game running from Firefox. So we have desires to release on more than just PC, especially with it being a local multiplayer game, like something that you want people sat on the couch playing with their mates. Sure. It's like plenty of people have Big Picture, but the majority of Steam users aren't using it to stream to their living room yet. I'm pretty sure that's going to change over the next few years, especially with Steam boxes. But in the meantime, yeah, those console platforms are something that we're looking at. We've got no announcements in the near future, and yeah, like really the big focus is PC. I've seen so many developers really damage their project or completely scupper themselves because they're like, we're going to do cross-platform, multiple platform release, and it's my first title and it's going to go great. I mean, look at Luftrausers back in the day. That was delayed on the whole release was delayed because they wanted to do simultaneous. And it took them, I think it was a year and a half to get the I think it was the Vita or the PS4 version through compliance. And it's like, wow, if that happened, they could just probably afford to do that based on their previous successes. If that happened to us or most of the developers, that would have killed us. So PC is the focus right now, and if it does good enough on the PC, we can start thinking about other platforms and hopefully have some really cool announcements next year.
Yeah, is there a release date in mind for Unbox on the PC?
The moment it's May 2016, so we've not got a specific date, but it should be May. And currently we're on track for that. And now that we're through Greenlight, that's sort of a bit of a weight off our shoulders, because up until now we've sort of been kind of hinting at that, saying sort of, Q2 sometime. But it's like, if you don't get through Greenlight, you can't say you're coming out. So now that we're through, we can start pinpointing an exact date that we'd want to come out on.
Yeah, perfect. Where can people at home keep up with all the news from Unbox and Prospect Games?
We've got a few channels. best bets are Twitter, so at Prospect Games or at Unbox the Game. You can find us on Facebook, just search Prospect Games. From there you can find our page for Unbox as well. You can also follow me at A13Dev on Twitter. I'm often talking about game dev related things like Indiepocalypses and all that kind of stuff, and tweeting about games which are cool. So yeah, those are pretty much the best places to find us. And if you want to go to our website, unboxgame.com or prospectgames.co.uk, get all the information about our company and game and things like mailing lists you can sign up to, job listings if you're interested in working with us, all listed there.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Andrew. It's been great to hear a little bit more about Unbox, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again a little bit nearer the launch in May next year.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Right now, I've not heard the interview.
Oh.
I'll hear it when the episode goes out.
Oh.
So hopefully you did a good job there.
Well,
did you ask my question about ham sandwiches?
No.
Did you ask my question about correct packaging of air pockets in a parcel?
No.
Did you ask my question whether they'd put my face on a box?
He said no.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. But it was a good chat, especially to get Andrew's view on indie games as somebody obviously working in that field.
Yeah.
We talked on previous episodes about the indie game apocalypse and things like that.
Yeah.
So to have his view on that as somebody very much on the front line, especially as literally about 24 hours before we spoke, they'd just got the green light on Steam.
Cool.
Now, a lot of games do get the green light on Steam if they get the support.
Well, when we spoke to them at EGX, they weren't doing very well. They were
doing okay, and as he sort of said
I think
in the
EGX
interview,
ticked it.
EGX, yeah, he said that made a big difference,
Yeah.
and the other shows they've done as well has helped build that support. And then obviously they did get the green light, as I said just before Andrew and I spoke, and yeah, it was great to, as I say, to get his view on how the indie game world is developing. Because he is right there at that front line right now,
Yeah.
trying to get this game
and make a
built
very
and launched.
ambitious looking game as well.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like completely
Well, I think
over the top ambitious. It's achievable,
yeah.
but it's if you imagine indie game in your head, you think of
I think
a spaceship scrolling up a screen in a very basic form.
As I sort of queried with Andrew at the top of the interview, if you said to somebody it's about a self-delivering box,
Yeah,
they'd probably look at you like you had two heads.
absolutely.
But the game actually works very well.
I'm not licking myself. That's a dog drinking water.
No, it's always some excuse.
There's always an excuse, but I've actually got one. Corey, you're drinking a lot of water there, dog. That's,
Yeah,
there's a lot of water.
got
It
sound
sounds like-
effects on the podcast now.
It is sound effects on the podcast.
It's normally my cat coming in, seeing you, and then turning around and
I
running
said
off
to Claire
again.
about this. I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Normally we get up and have drinks and
Yeah,
just creaky chairs and
Yeah.
cats getting let in and out, or housemates coming in and shutting the curtains."
yeah,
So now she can have some lunch.
yeah. This is good.
Well, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
This is podcast gold.
Yeah, it is.
It's the
There's
first
there's
ever-
no dead air now. This is
I
good.
should really have moved the microphone closer.
Yeah,
So we can actually pick this up properly, as
Yeah.
opposed to it just being in the background. It might not even be very noticeable because we've got these professional level microphones. I'm doing my phone voice there, Claire.
to be fair,
It's,
it's less awkward than those Look East interviews with children. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time today? Yeah. It's like, what was your favourite bit? It's the thingy. Oh yeah. Yeah. Mummy, get this man away from me.
She's done. Go on,
Oh.
get to your monkey. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I call Claire. The monkey. She's like a funky gibbon.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Unbelievable. So no, the interview is not the only interview we're going to be doing.
No.
Moving forward, because Spreaker
Yeah.
have now integrated Skype into their control.
They have.
So now we have a mixer. We can actually do live interviews, or at least record the interview and then make sure it sounds okay before we broadcast it live. But we can now do interviews together
Yeah.
for the first time, which we weren't able to do before.
No.
So look forward to more of those. We've definitely got Jake Burkett and Helen from Grey Alien Games, who do Shadowhand and the Regent Soto. They're interested. Actually, most of the people we spoke to are interested in coming on. I really want to get the Nature Zombie Apocalypse people on. Not the people from Vermintide, though.
No.
Just every time they talk, they sound like a Die Hard villain. It unsettles me somewhat.
Oh.
Not in a racist way. Just I keep
Just all
wanting them
people
to
from
just say something
Scandinavia
like,
should be Die Hard villains.
"What are you doing, Golfatar?" Like, I don't know what I'm doing. got a machine gun, ho, 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 or whatever. But yeah, we'll do lots more interviews going forward because this is, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed it, obviously.
Yeah.
Going by that one. Rise of the Tomb Raider microtransactions. I meant to talk to you about this at Eurogamer because I noticed something when I was playing the demo.
Okay.
Because I paused the game and ended up in the microtransaction screen accidentally, and
Okay.
they very quickly turned that screen off because they did not want me on that screen.
No.
And it was very clear. Also, we got to vote on a included thing in the early version, which was also a bit of a worry because I didn't want any of them, if you remember. Because there were things like you'd get extra XP from kills, or
Was it
you'd
extra
level-
explosive or extra something else?
unlimited explosives, I
Arrows
think
or
it was,
something.
or unlimited something, which you'd get if you pre-ordered the game. Which sort of, for my mind, broke the game somewhat. It doesn't make sense to have a game where you have to scavenge stuff, but you've got unlimited supplies or something. That's right. That angry.
Yeah.
Coughed it out.
Yeah.
But
Well,
go ahead with the details on the
Well,
macro.
I've included it more because I don't want it. To be honest, less to talk about it. Basically, the microtransactions are for what they've described as blind packs of game modifying cards.
Yeah.
So, exhibition cards are used in modes outside of the main campaign to select new aesthetic options such as costumes or a big head mode. So, going back to the days of GoldenEye with that terrible inflated head, which was fun at the time but looks awful in retrospect.
Batman Arkham Knight has added big head mode for free.
Yep. So,
Just to
and
point
there's
that out.
gameplay changing items as well with better armor perks, stuff like that. But I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. I didn't give a shit about multiplayer on the reboot in 2013. I just want a good
They're doing the
single-player
same
game.
in Forza as well, in that there are cards and you can buy packs of cards. See, Plants vs Zombies, you can buy packs of stickers, and they give you aesthetic changes,
Yeah,
but it's very reasonable price, and it's also if you can unlock in game.
yeah. So you can get in-game currency
Yeah,
or in-game credits playing Rise of the Tomb Raider. But
Yeah.
I just don't want this stuff. I just want them to make a great
It
single-player
doesn't
game.
work with Tomb Raider. It doesn't need to be there. Whereas with Plants vs Zombies, it worked because
Yeah.
it was the first in the series, and they had that as an established norm.
I mean, they're trying to make it work with Rise of Tomb Raider because there are other modes. We had multiplayer in Tomb Raider, but there's like score attack and things like that. So the idea being it gives you these boosts to do better in the score attack. But again, I just don't give a shit about this stuff.
No.
Just make a really great single player
I want to
game.
get better at the score attack because I'm good at it, not because I've got a boost.
Yeah.
Because then what is a high score chart? It's just somebody who's
It's like a
paid for load of
wind-assisted
packs.
long jump.
Yeah. It's like doping. It turns everyone into Lance Armstrong. Because if everybody does it, then the game plays level again.
Yeah.
So then you haven't got any conceivable advantage because everybody can also do it. So there doesn't need to be there. It's you. If you play a Resident Evil game and you get the S rank all the way through and you unlock the machine guns and the rocket launcher with unlimited ammo,
Yeah.
you achieve that, and it breaks the game. I mean, it's rubbish once you got it because you just walk through the game, but you've faced the highest challenge that game will ever have.
Yeah.
So there's no need to worry that you've now got a game breaking thing. If it's just, oh, well, you've got a new costume, well, great, that's fine. But could you not do it like other games where you complete this set of levels, so you've now got that costume available?
Yeah.
Why do I have to pay for that? Even if it's in-game currency that I then use to buy that stuff. Similarly with Destiny at the moment, they've got the silver added into Destiny. I don't know if you've been on there recently.
I haven't played it for literally weeks, probably months now.
So have you not gone to Taken King side yet?
Nope.
Right, well,
I haven't
so
even got it on the Xbox One, and I have no plan to buy it. To be honest.
I have.
Not maybe next year.
Well, I've got the
right
Destiny
now.
disc free if you want it.
It's still rebuying all the DLC though to be able to do everything.
I think some of it transfers over, doesn't it? Or did you find out?
To be honest, I didn't find out, but some of it was timed as well. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, ooh.
Well, either way, you can have the disc. So
Okay.
you've got Destiny.
Well, I'll give it a go.
On Nexus
we'll
One.
give it a whirl.
If nothing else.
Yeah.
But in
If it's
the-
free, I'll humor you and give it a
Yeah.
whirl.
in the main hub now, you've got a new store where you can buy emotes.
Yep.
Now they talked about this before.
The
where
Carlton
they-
dance was one of them, wasn't it, from Fresh Prince?
It looks that way, yes. And you buy them with silver, which is a premium currency. That apparently you can earn some in game, but you can also buy it.
Yep.
And it's like you can pay
It's kind of like the crowns in Elder Scrolls Online, isn't it?
basically.
Yeah.
You can pay £8 and get an emote. Fuck off. I don't want to do that.
I think I did read a small story on it, and they gave you so much silver as like a...
They gave you
Hey!
400 silver.
And the emotes
and
were
then
5.
Well, they had legendary emotes which were 500, or regular ones that were 200. But you could only conceivably actually use one at a time.
Yeah.
So I bought one which was basically a small hand clap and then a thumbs up.
Yep.
Because I just thought it would be nice to have one at the end of the round to say, "Well done, buddy. You did a good job," rather than just sit down like I normally do.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to talk on the microphone. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
Like I've got my Xbox One headphones. What I love, I can detach the microphone completely, just play with the sounds, and not have to worry about talking to people. I don't need that sort of strategy. I'm good at the game. They're good at the game. We know what we're trying to do, and yeah. But this silver thing is also what they've done in Forza. It's also what they're doing in Monster Rate. It seems to be, let's now add a premium currency or something where we can generate and monetize micro DLC to then either just be more profitable or to fund further DLC.
Yeah.
If this is the opposite of a season pass, so rather than saying, okay, pay 40 quid for something you don't know is coming, I can kind of get on board with it, because I would rather have something for my money
Yeah.
and then have them put something out for slightly cheaper later. But we haven't seen any evidence of how this is going to work out yet. And because it's the first, it kind of feels like, well, none of these are beneficial to the game itself. It's just a cheapy thing that way the biggest fans are going to be the people that buy it.
Yeah.
So you're basically using your biggest fans as a cash cow.
That's Destiny.
Yeah. But this is the point. This is what gaming has become. And I think Destiny was the benchmark for that. How far will they go? And that interview where he said, "You haven't seen what the content is. When you have, you'll be throwing your money at me."
Yeah.
Like, their confidence that it doesn't matter what we put out, you'll buy it, is something that now game AAA design will do. Battlefront has got no major single player, but they've already announced a 40-odd quid season pass.
Yeah.
So you've got to buy the game for 40 quid. Then to be able to keep playing that long term, you need to pay another 40 quid. So you're paying 80 quid for a game that you don't really know is going to be any good. Is all that content going to be good?
Yeah.
We'll get on to the Batman Arkham Knight stuff in a bit. But these season passes are a risk. Now with Fallout, I have no issue paying for a season pass for that.
Yeah.
Because Bethesda have been very clear, you will get content that is worth more than what you pay. And if we decide to make more content, that will be included. Now that goes against what Destiny did.
Yeah.
And it goes against what Evolve did. Evolve had a Season 1 pass and a Season 2 pass. And Bethesda have clearly stated that if you buy that Season pass, you get everything.
They've also got the track record to back them up with Fallout 3 and New Vegas.
And Skyrim. You know, the content they put out for Skyrim was substantial. I mean, the Hearthstone stuff, not so much, but the other bits were chunky, nice bits of content. And yeah, so I would quite happily throw money to Bethesda early.
Yeah.
Especially if it gave me some, even if it was just a Vault 101 suit as a little perk just to go, oh, there you go. You got that and you've got Boom as a companion or you get dog meat, or there's some sort of little Fallout 3 incentive. Or even if they say, because with pre-orders you get Fallout 3, if you buy a season pass you get Fallout New Vegas as a digital copy. That would also be quite a nice touch.
I just want them to make it part of the backwards compatibility. And I just put my disc in.
Well, it is going to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely
it's
is.
okay.
The backwards compatibility officially goes live in November.
Yep.
And
have they released a date for that yet? Or I just missed it?
Not that I've seen.
No, it's just November.
They just keep showing you more and more titles that are going to be part of it. It looks like it's going to launch with over 100.
Yep.
And bearing in mind that the Gears of War Ultimate Edition comes with all the Gears games, but only Gears 1's available at the moment, it would suggest that they're all going to be obviously added.
So you have to play like a multiplayer game to unlock that or something really crazy.
I think, yes.
Play like one multiplayer game. I'll just do that to stand in a call and get shot a lot and go, all right, thanks.
Do you know, I don't mind. But this is the thing, like, all these things are there.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of rattle through and do what you do. But I've lost my train of thought now. What was I saying?
Backwards compatibility, 100 games.
Yeah. So Fallout, having the pre-order of Fallout 3, that should already be active by then. But again, with me, I can't put that disc in. I've got all the DLC.
Yeah.
So I'll have the Ultimate Edition essentially. See, that's the only thing I wish. I wish that all these backwards compatible games were the definitive editions with all DLC.
Yeah.
That would be nice. But if they can't do that, I understand that that licensing and stuff.
Is it going to tie in? So, like, I've got all the Fallout 3 DLC. Is it going to pick that up and just unlock it? It will.
Absolutely. And if you've got a cloud save, when you play it, you'll play from where you got.
That's what I need to do. I need to transfer my 360 saves to the cloud.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then I can ditch my 360. Basically,
it'll basically read the cloud, and you'll use whatever saves you've got. So for me, where I deleted all of my saves, mine's like a roulette now. I don't know what's in the cloud or not. So I put a game in, and it's either start afresh or
I'm just going to leave that uploading overnight.
Yeah,
Internet's not working. I don't know what's wrong with it.
The genius of that compatibility is it does allow you to just pick up and go. I mean, I said before with Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, the kids can play on the Xbox One upstairs, save it, go downstairs, load the game downstairs from the disc,
carry on,
and that game will be exactly where they got to, and that's a very cool feature.
Yeah.
So, it's these microtransaction things are a bane. But then we talked before, and I'm going to go into a bit more detail now because I'm going to talk about Batman Arkham Knight's season pass content because they've finally revealed all of what's coming, and there is in at least in written form, there's a lot. I don't know if it's enough.
Okay, I've not seen what there is.
Okay, so far we've had the Batgirl DLC, which was about 45 minutes long and boring as hell. We've had the Red Hood little mission pack that came as a pre-order bonus. That's now available for like 79p, so I bought that. Took me 20 minutes. That was all right. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that more than the Batgirl one.
Yep. But again, it's 20 minutes.
Yeah. Harley Quinn, about the same again.
Yep.
Just basically her rescuing Poison Ivy from Bloodhaven's police department. Again, it was all right, but it was 20 minutes. Right. So that's what I've got as playable DLC. They've given away some free stuff like some skin packs, like the new 52 skins. But coming from the next 3 months, they've got some more content. So already released Arkham episodes, Matter of Family, which was Batgirl, Red Hood, Harley Quinn. So we've had that. AR challenges, there's about 12 of those already out.
Yep.
Skins, they've already done a load of skins. So let's say, right, these are all there. Free update, they've had big head mode, photo mode, and original voice cast allows you to play with the original cast but with localized subtitles. So if you're in Germany, you can have Kevin Conroy's Batman rather than the German guy voicing Batman.
Right, so it'll be German subtitles.
Yeah, so that's quite a cool little feature, really, in the sense that if you're a big fan, you've probably watched all the films in American English anyway. So they're all out already. So in October, you're going to get a Batman Classic TV series Batmobile pack, so you get the old Adam West Batmobile.
Okay.
Plus some skins for Catwoman and Robin. So, nothing astonishing. Nothing there is going to make me go, I want that.
How much is the season pass now?
It's still about 40 quid.
Yeah.
They haven't reduced price. Bearing in mind the 3 story packs I've already described, you can get for less than £4.
This is what I mean. And there is, if we're generous, 90 minutes content there.
Yeah. Then the 1970s Batman-themed Batmobile skin. So not very well known, but based on the comic books.
Yep.
With some AR challenges. And then some free updates, which will give you character selection in combat challenges and an optional hard difficulty in combat challenges. So really, that's not even part of the season pass. Everybody gets that.
Yeah.
November, the 2016 Batman vs Superman Batmobile, which is all right.
Right.
Plus the Ben Affleck Batman skin.
Right.
But that's not that exciting for people who haven't seen the film.
No.
Because you don't know if you like that Batman yet.
No.
So there we go. Wayne Tech.
And it's also just a skin, effectively.
Yeah. Wayne Tech Pack, which gives you 2 race tracks. Then two new Arkham episodes. And these are the story-based stuff.
Yep.
So we've got Catwoman's Revenge, which is her getting revenge on Edward Nygma. Includes 1 story mission and 2 challenge maps. It's like, okay, so another 20-minute story pack. Maybe a little bit longer, but not by much. Arkham episode, A Flip of a Coin, starring Robin. So assuming against Two-Face, includes 1 story mission and 2 AR maps. So
you've maybe got another hour's content there.
And these will be available separately to buy.
Yeah.
So if they're following the same pricing, you're probably looking at 2-3 quid. So I can have all of the single player story mode so far for about 8 quid.
Yep.
The rest is skins and Batmobile tracks and challenges. And then it runs through Arkham Episode AR challenges, Robin and Batmobile skins pack, which has got a Robin-themed Batmobile, which makes no sense. Like, give me the Robin's motorbike.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. A Riddler-themed Batmobile skin, the Crime Fighter Challenge pack. And then December, this could be the big chunk of content.
Right.
This is the Season of Infamy.
Okay.
The Most Wanted expansion. Now, the Most Wanted in Batman Arkham Knight are you hunting down certain villains.
Okay.
This is Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, Ra's al Ghul, and the Mad Hatter.
Okay.
All new characters to this game. Obviously, all of them have been in previous ones. Quite interestingly, two of those characters were rumoured to have died in the series, so they're back. But again, are they going to be a half-hour story each? Or are they just going to be another 20-minute thing? Is it going to be a bit more substantial? Is it going to add load of missions in the city?
But that's the thing. Granted, not knowing that, but you're still up to 3-4 hours for 40 quid, plus a load of skins, which most people can take or leave.
Well,
they might find one they like. I did it before.
The last little bit's just a
with Tomb Raider
sell it
Definitive.
to you now. Right. The 2008 movie Batman skin.
Right.
So you can be
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. The original Arkham Batmobile, because,
Yeah.
right. And another challenge pack.
Yeah.
And that is it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still not.
It's...
I'd say you might find a skin you like.
Yeah.
I did it with Tomb Raider, because on Definitive Edition, you get the skins. Great.
Yeah.
That was part of the games that got free downloads. What?
Yeah.
Thought,
It's weird.
Yeah,
They've also, as part of this
it actively puts me off actually buying the game if people are going to be shitty like that without here's the DLC.
Well,
all right, con
they've
then.
given away a Batman of Zur NR, which is his weird, kind of stitched together half Robin, half Batman suit, as a community skin, just saying, so thanks to all of our fans, we're going to do this, but you have to log in here and then log in there and do this. Just give it away.
Yeah.
Stop making people jump through hoops for stuff. And yet people were like, wow, this is brilliant, this is going to rock.
No,
It takes something to build. It takes ages to build it, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, great, well done. But yeah, I still think that season pass is way overpriced.
Yep.
20 quid. Absolutely. It should represent a significant saving on buying it all separately, and at the moment,
It just doesn't.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Moving to another superhero.
Okay,
Ant-Man sequel.
let's talk about
Yay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes.
Which is a ridiculously stupid name for a film.
It tells you what it is.
It does, but it kind of suggests that he's going to punch a wasp in the face.
It might be.
As
It
opposed
might
to,
not actually be the Wasp, as in the Wasp. As in Evangeline Lilly. It
Well,
might be Ant-Man tries to go
what
for an
is it?
actual
'Cause-
picnic. He's actually gone to have a nice day at the park, have a day off from superheroing, and then a bloody wasp.
tries to steal a sandwich.
Yep. It's actually
Then
just a
he
short
notices-
film. Like the Pixar shorts with Jack from The Incredibles and things.
Or maybe he's trying to find a new animal to fly on after his ant
Yep.
was killed.
Yep.
Was it Barry? Did he call the ant Barry?
I can't remember.
It was something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that.
And now he's trying to ride a wasp instead. He probably is trying to ride the wasp. Because, but yeah, that's coming in 2018. It's been announced.
Yep, July 6th. So they've shuffled a couple of other bits around to accommodate it.
Yep.
Black Panther is moved to February 16th, 2018.
Yep.
It was going to be July previously. And Captain Marvel is now been pushed back to March 8th, 2019. That was going to be October 2018 originally. Which I'm a little bit disappointed about because I'm quite looking forward to the Captain Marvel.
Yeah. I think it makes sense to put an Ant-Man sequel in there rather than add it right on the end.
Yep.
Especially as it will give them a chance to bring in the Wasp before Infinity Saga.
Yep.
But
That's what confused me with moving Captain Marvel because I thought she would tie in.
yeah,
Which maybe she ties them apart too, maybe.
who knows?
I don't know. But there's other films apparently going to come out in 2020 as well, but they haven't confirmed
Which
any
we had
titles or
a
anything
mad
for.
week last week where there was rumours that Marvel had reacquired the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
And that was part of their 2020 plan. They were going to do a Fantastic Four. Then it was, no, they hadn't. Then it was yes, they had, because 20th Century Fox had negotiated TV rights to use X-Men characters in TV series and do something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then, no, they haven't. They definitely haven't. And then, yes, they have. And they've already started working on it. But officially at the moment, no, they haven't. So we still don't really know what's going on.
Nope.
I think it's a safe bet to say Marvel will get the Fantastic Four back, and they will be putting a film in that period of time.
Potentially, yeah.
I don't think Fox are going to really want to do too much with it. The last one was
Not
such
after,
a mess. And I think the X-Men franchise is something that has a lot of value, and so many characters come under it that for them to negotiate the rights to do stuff with it, I think they'll give it up easy.
So the other thing with untitled or unnamed films, they got Spider-Man.
Yep.
So you've got to assume there's going to be a Spider-Man film in there somewhere. It may move things around again, like they've just because the Ant-Man sequel.
Yeah.
Because previously Inhumans was the furthest one ahead in 2019.
And Inhumans might now not happen because they're in Age of the Shield, and they did say that because of the disparity between the TV series and the films, they don't know if they can do the Inhumans as a film anymore.
It's a bit late for that after all the Coulson shit. We talked about it a few weeks ago.
Well, it is because the worlds are, as we said, they're now deemed as separate.
Yeah.
So even though there are crossovers from the films to the series, it won't work the opposite way. And so if the Inhumans become a bigger part of the Marvel TV universe, it makes sense for them to have their own TV show.
And of course, Chris Evans has signed on to do Captain America. He's basically said, do it as long as they want him.
Which kind of puts a pin in the plan of him dying in Civil War.
Yeah.
Or it's a good jump through the hoop to say, haha, I said I'd do them until they told me not to, but they've told me not to now.
Yeah, but I would be very surprised if he wasn't in Infinity Wars.
Yeah. I would have applauded the bravery of daring to kill Captain America because it
happens in the comics. So it would be canon with what's out there.
And you've got both Bucky and Falcon, both of whom take over the mantle of Captain America. Now, obviously, it is in the comics found out they didn't die and it was all a hoax. So it does mean they can bring him back.
So they can follow that story
with that as well. So I don't know. I just still fear that because they've had to compromise on a lot of the elements of Civil War because of rights. I mean, the Fantastic Four play a huge role.
Yeah.
So, obviously with those not being in there, I think it's fair enough to say, well, okay, 90% of this is not going to be the Civil War storyline. It's just going to be inspired by our universe doing the Civil War as opposed to the Marvel universe.
Yeah, and then there's other other elements of the Civil War comic book. I don't know how well they transfer to the screen, the prison and things.
Yeah.
How well that would transfer, because in comics, there's things that will. And the end of Watchmen.
Yeah,
the end of the comic and the film are very different because what works on paper doesn't work on celluloid.
No.
So, there's scope to change it just to make certain things just a little bit more believable for your average cinema audience.
Yeah.
Because not everybody who will go and see a Marvel film is a Marvel comic book fan. They've just got swept up in the cinematic
But that's
universe.
the advantage they've got. With no Mr. Fantastic, you don't have the other dimension prison. So, but then, they haven't got the volume of opponents either. We haven't got Goliath for a start.
Yeah.
And Thor, we know Thor's not in it. So Thor come in and then killing Goliath, then that's going to happen.
Yeah, but they would have to do things with Thor for that to follow the comic book storyline.
Yeah.
So
this is the point. Yeah. So the comics
are probably going to underpin it loosely. I would expect,
which is a shame because the comic book is so good.
Yeah,
but it's the sort of thing I wish they'd waited until later.
Yeah, as I said, there's elements of the comic which I don't know how well they'd work on screen.
I'll be honest. I just wanted it to have everything of the Marvel universe available. It doesn't have to be used.
Yeah,
but have
referenced
everything
at least sometimes.
Have it there so that the big event stuff all happens, and then the smaller stuff is just in the peripheral. Which is what I said about having Ant-Man in the background of the Battle for New York.
Though they did kind of explain that one away.
I know they did, but I wasn't happy until I saw that explanation. Now I'm very happy about that explanation. Yeah. But this is the point: like there are other heroes that should exist, but it seems like all the origin stories now are going to be set post that to just make it work, and I think that's a bit of a shame. But it makes sense, and there we go. What can you do?
What can you do?
What can you do? Right, let's talk about one last thing. Film and game related this time. Lego Dimensions is glorious. We played it. We love it.
We did.
I will be getting it for my children at Christmas.
You'll be getting it for you, and your children will be allowed to play it at Christmas.
Well, I did debate getting it before Christmas so they can play it during the Christmas holidays.
Right.
Then I thought about getting it for the October half term, so they can play it during the October half term. But I will wait until close to Christmas for I'll probably get some add-on packs as Christmas presents, and then they can play the main game earlier. But while it's got a wealth of content in there, some people have been digging through the directories on the website for LEGO Dimensions.
Yep.
And most of the files are abbreviated to initials.
Yep.
So The Simpsons would be TS, and Portal 2 would be P2, and Back to the Future would be BTTF. So using these acronyms or abbreviations, they have proposed that future content could include Harry Potter, which would make sense because LEGO have got the license for that. The A-Team.
Yep.
Now, I thought that might be a bit spurious, but apparently Mr. T is specifically named in there because he is a trademark. So a Lego Mr. T in the game of Portal punching GLaDOS. The greatest thing ever. Particularly if he doesn't go in flying vehicles.
Yep.
Would be brilliant. I'd adore it. Knight Rider.
Well, it's KR, because it's the initials.
Well, what else could you think of? I mean,
there's not a lot. You're right.
If you've got the A-Team as well, you're thinking, okay, we've got this 80s thing. Like Airwolf could also go in. And then MI, so people have proposed Mission Impossible.
Yep. Monkey Island was mentioned.
Monkey Island as well. But I think Mission Impossible is more likely, given the
popularity of the series. Monkey Island's a little bit
popularity
niche.
series, but also the fact that Disney's been taking Monkey Island games off of markets,
right? And
seem to be sort of getting rid of a lot of the references. And then Fantastic Beasts, which is the Harry Potter spin-off for FB, and ET for
ET. Presumably,
which
trying to resurrect his reputation among
games. Lego ET could be quite good. I wouldn't have thought it. But actually, when you then start thinking about it, you've got a lot of scope for that. Flying bikes and healing plants. That's a good ability to have in a puzzle game. So yeah, I quite like those because they're weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, Harry Potter's the only one on there that I would think, that of course that's in there.
Yeah.
Because it's previously been used.
I think the Mr. T probably does give away the A-Team.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. And just, I mean, that'd be great. Just having a Lego A-Team.
Yeah.
Lego Battlestar Galactica. Imagine that.
Is that the original or the reimagined?
Both.
If it's both, I'm all over. All over.
Well, with Doctor Who, they did all of it, didn't they? So, it's just Lego. They can do what they like. Christ, they've done like 12...
literally do what they like now.
Yeah,
They're above
9
the law.
suits in the latest Lego Marvel, so they can certainly have 2 versions of Starbuck. But yeah, I love the idea that when I was talking to Guy, they said they were looking at this for 3 years. So much good stuff they could put in there.
So much money.
And it's it is a lot of money. But then after playing with them and looking at them and thinking, even when the game's no longer relevant, you still own a Lego Portal set.
Yeah.
You still own the Simpsons car. If you were to buy that as a little set, you'd probably spend 20 quid on the Lego. So to spend 20 quid on a set that you could also build and play with in a game, I don't think it's too shabby. But yeah, we'll be talking more about Lego Dimensions, no doubt, in the future.
Have they announced anything for Lord of the Rings expansion for Dimensions? Because they had a Lego Lord of the Rings, didn't they? Or Lego Hobbit.
Yeah, and they were talking about, I think... Yeah, because Gandalf's in the main game.
Of course he is. Yes, so he is.
I was thinking, I've seen it in all the trailers. Why have they not brought that out? But
I'd forgotten Gandalf was in there.
And
no, I used him a year ago. Yay!
Next week, we may well be playing some Guitar Hero Live. Because
you've bought it.
Going to be getting it soon. If I'm allowed to put it on someone's credit card. My girlfriend's credit card. Basically, that's the plan. So, if we can get that in, hopefully we'll be able to play that before next week's show. Yeah. It might be that I'll have to give you the disc a day before, get it installed on your Xbox. Yeah. And then bring the guitar over the following day. But I'm very excited by what I played it yesterday. It's very good.
Yeah.
Really good. I played it at Eurogamer.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's really good. I want it like I've not wanted something in a long time. Ooh. I want this more than I want Lego Dimensions.
Ooh. That's bold. That's a big statement.
It is a big statement. It's the Guitar Hero TV stuff. It's just brilliant. Like you've just got music channels you can just play along to.
People seem to get really confused by how that was all going to work.
It's very simple.
No, that's what I mean. That's what you and I talked about it. It was like, this is pretty straightforward. I like this idea.
And
obviously they talked about the trying to move away from traditional download content, use your tokens to unlock songs on demand, and people are like, I don't get it. It's like, what don't you get? Why are you allowed to vote?
It's basically a jukebox.
Yeah.
That's the way you look at it. You think, you want to play a song, so you use a token.
Well, how are you allowed to drive a car if you can't understand this?
And yet, weirdly, I was looking at Rock Band, and they were announcing like they've got an Aerosmith track pack. It's like £8.
No.
6 songs. And I'm thinking, I want those, but no.
Not for £8.
Like,
I can buy the album and play along with myself.
And this is the point.
Like, the box guitar with rubber band strings.
Of those Aerosmith songs, the ones I'll probably play the most are the ones that I know. And I don't really want to buy a whole pack. Yeah. So I'll then probably end up buying individual tracks. That's annoying.
I think the only standalone Guitar Hero one I bought was Metallica. Yeah. I knew the music. Like, front to back, what was on there, I knew.
All of them, including the Van Halen one.
Yeah.
Just because I was such a guitar nut.
Yeah.
I just bought everything.
Aerosmith I got a review copy of for the old website I used to write for.
Yeah.
So that was fine. I know some of their stuff.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have bought it. The only one I didn't buy, which I wish I had, was the Beatles.
Yeah. That's Rock Band anyway.
Yeah. So I'm forced to. I didn't bother with Green Day. Kind of surprising. I think I'd gone off Rock Band and Guitar Hero by the time Green Day came out.
I don't know if I bought that. I'm sure I did buy that.
I think Metallica was the last one I bought.
Yeah.
And then I think I played through it all once, and that was it.
It's
That's where it died.
And this is the thing, like, with Guitar Hero Live, or Guitar Hero TV rather, the thing that impressed me most was there are songs on there I would never have bought or even looked at. I'd go through a list and think, I don't know what that is, move to the next one. And then actually, quite enjoyed it.
Do you know what did that for me? Apple Music. I signed up for the 3-month trial. Same thing. Yeah. Like, I got quite into country and western music as a result of that. It's like, I like this one song. And I look a little bit around, and then you sort of fall down another little rabbit hole.
But this is kind of what they're trying to do. They're saying that the way we access music has changed dramatically. Yeah. So why shouldn't the way we play games with that music?
Definitely changed my attitude, because when I first signed up, I'm like, I'll just take advantage of it for 3 months. Yeah. And then it came to the end, I'm like, I actually quite want to spend the tenner now. And I think once...
Did you ever use Spotify or anything like that before? See, I use Spotify. Yeah,
and I know other people have said because they built up this is what I like. So Spotify, moving to Apple Music was difficult because it was like starting again.
But Apple Music is good if it's your first effect. And giving that free trial was such a good move because it did show you everything you could do.
It wasn't a perfect interface. It was a bit clunky, but I liked the way once I learnt my way around it. So maybe when I'm on less of a stringent budget, trying to save for a wedding, I might spring for the £10 a month and actually use it, because I would use it. Use it at work.
Put it on your wedding gift list, a year's membership.
Year's membership. Because I'd use it at work sometimes. Yeah. I just want to put the headphones in and focus on what I'm trying to do.
Well, this is it. With me, I can just put a playlist on and hit it. And with the Spotify, even with the free, you can play the free one, but just play an ad every now and then. I have no issue with that. Yeah. Claire and I, very often, what we'll do is I'll load up Spotify and we'll load up, say, 100 great 80s hits. Yeah. And I'll get her to sit down and I'll play like 10 seconds. She'll nail it. Just weird. She's like Rain Man of music.
Right. So it's name that tune.
It's basically an out tune, but we're powered by Spotify. And it's great. And it's just mucking around, because you think like, there's 100 tracks there that I haven't had to buy or download. Yeah. I've just got them there straight away. And it's a curated playlist that somebody else has already created, so I haven't even got to put any work into it. It's great. It's great. So, the fact that Guitar Hero is now saying, actually, that's the way to go. Yeah. It absolutely is. Because I was reading through the track list of what's available, and half of what is available almost exclusively through that music video channel. And that's fine. Like, I don't care. I don't want to have to just play through a progression to unlock music. I want to be able to sit at 2 a.m. when I'm tired, but I can't sleep, casually playing on a relatively easy difficulty with my headphones on, just hammering to some tracks. And you can put a casual sound. I mean, they said they can have country and western channels if they want. They could have rockabilly. They could have classic 70s rock. it could grow and grow and grow. And of course, you've also got the music videos.
Yeah.
So you're not just playing over a random thing. For a lot of these, you'll play over the actual music video. So you've got the added bonus of a music TV channel that you can play Guitar Hero to. And that's just cool.
Yeah.
So, I will hopefully have that ready, and then we should be able to talk about that on, if not next week, we'll talk about it the week after. But yeah, other than that, let's get this show wrapped up.
Yeah.
Because we don't even know if this is recorded very well.
Oh.
So it could be all of this is rubbish, but it shouldn't, hopefully. So if you have been doing your Christmas shopping and you've been using our affiliate link, thank you very much. If you haven't, there's still time to do so, because we have found out that we do need another component to connect all of this to Rob's Mac.
Yeah.
Because at the moment it's going through my mum's laptop.
Hey.
She's got pink stickers on.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
And it's running Vista. And there's not a lot of long knife in it. So we're almost there anyway. But, you can help. You buy a new game or a console for Christmas. I mean, PlayStation 4's dropped below £300 now.
It has.
New price drop.
Yep.
If that swayed you, order it through there. We'll get 30p. Might get £3 if we get a good percentage.
Yeah.
Like 1%. That'd be £3. If you're pre-ordering games, if you've read one of our articles where we've talked about games, at the moment we're putting at the end in most of them a link.
Yep.
If you click that link, it'll automatically take you via the affiliate link to the page where you can buy that game. Lego Dimensions is one of them.
Yes.
You did it for
I did it for Call of Duty for the Steam
Tomb
ones
Raider
as well.
didn't you?
Yep.
So, Steam we don't get a kick, but we don't care.
But I'd like to make people's lives easier where possible.
Yeah. So, if you're reading this stuff, and we are trying to write more and more. I've just been stupidly busy this week. I have written some.
Yep.
Which have gone up. I've done The Division.
Yep.
Homefront.
That's why we struggled to get together for the last couple of weeks to record, this episode, theoretically.
We've just both been crazy.
Weird. End of October.
Yeah. Well, it's been busy for work mostly.
Yeah.
It's not so much social life. None of us got one of those. So if you want to use those affiliate links, that genuinely helps. Like 100%, your money goes towards this show.
Yep.
We can prove that now because we've got all the equipment that we promised we'd buy. And somebody pointed out actually I think it was Postman Gav on Twitter, said it's nice to see a show that says we want your donation so we can improve our equipment. Yeah. And then actually see that somebody does
We've got
occasionally
things we can
improve.
thrust at people now.
Because I guess you could easily do that. Just go, make a donation, and then just spend it on whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like we've had Amazon money. We could have used that for shoes. Or like 100,000 cable ties.
Yeah.
Or something, but we didn't.
I'm not buying shoes of Amazon. I don't trust them.
I mean, we've got, what is it, a Behringer Xenix 802. And it's a very nice little
I think it's
mixer.
pronounced Behringer, but yeah.
Behringer. It's got a H in it, so
know.
I just wanted to pronounce it. What's the Behringer minimum? One Behringer.
Who knows, eh?
But yeah, so we've got enough input on there to put like another 2 guests in. So we can do like a tabletop gaming night and actually mic it up.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of what we can do now. It'd be brilliant. We can actually all sit around the table, play the Portal cooperative game, or the Bioshock Infinite game, or Ticket to Ride, and all we mic'd up and actually just broadcast that.
Yeah.
Put a webcam up.
Yeah.
Sorted.
Yeah.
It's quite exciting, isn't it?
Yes.
And you made this happen, people at home.
Yeah, you did.
So
thank you very much.
You.
Yeah.
We genuinely mean that. So yeah, if you're out there buying gifts or screws or replacement body parts on Amazon, you can do that. Particularly if you're buying screws, because it's done by the volume of what you order.
Yeah.
Increases our percentage. So if you run a carpentry business and you buy boxes of things, buy them from Amazon.
Yeah.
Get them for a few pence, and every one you buy increases our percentage. Then when somebody does buy a single big item, our percentage increases. Everybody wins.
Loot Crate as well. If you want to sign somebody up for a Christmas gift for a Loot Crate subscription, on the homepage, affiliate links, and the menu at the top, Loot Crate.
Absolutely.
Bingo. We get a little kickback on that one as well. Again, it doesn't cost you anything. So
no, it's all just helps us.
It does.
So, yeah. Right, finally, rate and review us on iTunes. We do love your reviews.
Certainly do.
We're going to do a review roundup next week's show where we're going to read out the reviews we've had.
Great.
So if you want your review in the review roundup, get it in now.
Yes.
Because it does take a couple of days to clear through.
It does.
But we'd love to hear them. If you want to put a joke in there, or say you want to plug, I don't know, your own podcast.
Yeah.
Just say, I really like your podcast. Maybe you could listen to my podcast and then put that podcast name in there. Don't use it overtly advertising because iTunes might take it off.
Yep.
But you could allude to it cleverly, and then when we read it out, you'll get free advertising.
Yeah.
Or just Twitter messages saying we reviewed you. We're from this podcast, and we'll also talk to you. Drop by the website lollycross.co.uk. Read all of our stuff. Find the affiliate links. Find the email link. If you want to email us, you can just click on that big envelope, or email us at wearelollycross@gmail.com. We do get emails occasionally.
We do,
and they're lovely.
Yeah.
So thank you if you send those. I do like getting them. I apologise I don't always respond straight away, but to be honest, most of the emails that go in there are marketing ones from companies that want me to play their game and review it. Yeah. I've got 12 review copies on this laptop at the moment of games where I'm trying to go through. We were both gifted very kindly actually, a Vermintide collector's edition to say thank you for the coverage we'd given them, which was nice actually because it came after we'd given them a good amount of coverage, so we weren't really paid off.
Yeah.
So that's the most ethical video. Well, that's ethics in games journalism, isn't it? Right there, because we didn't ask for them, and they didn't say, "Would you like them?" We just got an email, and we got one each, which was nice as well. So we didn't have to fight over it, even though I don't think it runs on Mac.
I've got a virtual machine,
but you've got one, so we're both at the game. So that's quite nice. Tweet us at We Are the Lollycourse, so letter R. Obviously, we do check that a lot.
Yes.
That is the easiest way to get in touch with
both
Rob and myself, with the exception of actually following us directly at Bounceable with H after second B.
Follow me at Rob McGregor 35.
Right, that's it.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of equipment to put away now. That's the downside.
Yep.
Before it used to just be
I'm
save it.
off. Yeah, it's great.
You can leave,
Close the laptop lid and clear off. It's great.
Yeah, and I'll get all this tidied up and we'll go forward. So see you next week for episode 34.
Yeah, it is 34 as well. This is 33. I checked.
Perfect. So hopefully, we'll play Guitar Live. My girlfriend will now be £100 more in debt, and our fingers will be bleeding like in the summer of '69. It's a joke about Bryan Adams' song there. Don't just nod at me, Rob. It's a podcast. They can't see you nodding.
I thought that was a good note to finish on.